Voice of the Cincinnati Reds, and you're up for Late Night Reds Talk.
Hello, everybody! Happy opening day eve. What a fantastic day. We're finally here after a lockout. After a lot of disgruntled offseason, we're here on opening day eve for a very special preview episode of Late Night Reds Talk Live. Brought to you by, of course, the Believe Podcast Network and our good friends at Bet Online. Nicholas! Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info and odds. Find all of the latest sports developers, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and start of the Major League Baseball season. Bet Online is your continued source for all your working wages needs, including live betting in your favorite Vegas casino games. It's easy to get started, so just join today. Learn why everyone is saying Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports popular games. Bet Online, where the game starts. And Nick, looking at the over-unders today for the Cincinnati Reds on our fantastic website of Bet Online, one really jumped out to me that I'm really interested about. We'll ask many of our guests a few of these probably throughout the night. But Tyler Mahle, over under 10 wins. I feel like that's an easy over.
I hate wins.
I do too. It's a stupid stat, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like he could, you could have a great season and, like, have, 8 or 9 wins and,
right.
Whatever. I mean, I guess I'd take the over on that one, but I don't love it. I mean, especially, I think wins are going to be really hard to come by early in the year with a lot of these short starts. So,
yeah, I think 10's rational if he pitches the whole season. I mean,
know.
So, so make sure you can get on Bet Online and bet on those. We're going to talk about a few of these, like I said, throughout the night. But also, before we get into our guests today, which we have so many that we're so excited about, we have a really cool announcement, something that we've been working really hard on. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have supported Late Night Reds Talk Live now for a little over a year, we're extremely grateful, and we definitely appreciate it. You've helped us so much. We have swag!
That's
go. Right. If you go to latenighreds.merchmake.com, you can buy t-shirts for adults, kids, toddlers, dogs, dog bandanas. I know my wife's very excited about dog bandanas. You can get coffee mugs, shot glasses, beer steins. So everything there at latenighreds.merchmake.com. It's pretty awesome. We're very excited about this. So if you want to go take some time to support, now you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, so we got our first guest coming up here about 9:15. We're also still waiting for Carlos to get in as he was running a little behind today. But kind of real quick, get your thoughts. So we're coming off of the end of the spring training now. Honestly, pretty decent spring for all things to count for. You saw a lot of things jump out. You saw a lot of talent level there. So they were in 10-7 in their 17 spring games. What do you kind of take away from what we saw from spring training performance?
Well, I try not to make too much out of, any spring training numbers. Like a guy like Aquino, who I love, I'm not gonna take anything out of his spring training numbers. I'm looking more at like the guys like Nick Senzel, Mike Moustakas. They looked healthy, and they performed well. So that was maybe the most encouraging thing for me. I thought Joey Votto looked really good as well, and I mean, he's getting up there in age, and so to see him still, mashing, those are kind of the things I look for. And Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is the Reds are relatively healthy. I mean, I know they lost Schrock at the end, but overall, I mean, I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I agree. Carlos has joined the show. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up, boys?
You doing all right?
Doing all right. Tough loss
Good.
tonight, but we're doing all right.
Tough loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you're here. We're going to talk about some baseball. We are going to get your thoughts real quick, but we actually do have our first guest here hanging out with us. You can check her out on 700 WLW. Our good friend and yours, bringing her dog with her. If you follow her on Twitter, you know all about her dog. This is Sarah Elise. Sarah, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thanks for taking some time to join us with. I know you work early morning, so it's definitely nice to get you on here early.
Yeah, you guys are pretty special because my alarm goes off at 3:30 tomorrow morning. So,
Whoa.
I can't do it. I work from home. I don't have to do that. So,
yeah, that's got to be nice. But yeah, we wanted to join you guys tonight, and we're super excited for tomorrow, Game 1, regular season. How are we all feeling?
Fantastic.
Pretty pumped up, ready to go.
Yes, absolutely. So we obviously want to get your thoughts on the season, but I do have to ask first from following you on social media. You had the experience of checking out all the new Great American Dining options this week.
Yeah, that's where I got the new hat. It was an awesome experience. A lot of great options this year. There's a new fried chicken sandwich if you like spicy. It's the Reds Red Hot Chicken Sandwich. There's also a fry box with Oreos and whipped cream and chocolate on top for a sweet and salty taste bud. And what else did we have? Some vegan hot dogs. Yeah, it was a great experience, as always. Big thanks to Michael Anderson over there and the Cincinnati Reds.
Nice. You had me at whipped cream.
Oh. Yeah, the whipped cream was great. There's also a brand new sundae out called the Bunt Sundae. So it's a bunt cake with ice cream and whipped cream on top. Oh, it was excellent.
Man.
Highly recommend.
I might want to go to that before opening day.
You're coming to visit this season, Carlos? We're going to catch a couple games?
For sure. I mean, if I get a chance to watch the game when I'm not eating, yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Hey, it's part of the experience, but I don't know. I'm a pretty simple girl. I mean, just give me a beer and a hot dog and I'll be happy.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So I want to ask real quick, so I have you here. How you're quite a frequent visitor of GABP during the season, like us. So how many games would you guesstimate you say you go to on an average throughout the season?
On average, I think I attend 15 to 20 games. 4 of them being with her. We go to Bark in the Park together. So
nice.
Yeah, we're excited to have a normal season again.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously, I know it's been an up and down off season. To get your thoughts, I know obviously being around Willie and guys like that, you hear a lot of opinions. But what do you kind of take away from the Reds as we head into the season? What do you expect from them?
Lots of opinions. Oh my gosh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't hear a lot of opinions at my job at all. Yeah, we all have a lot of opinions around there. But honestly, I think we're all just trying to stay optimistic. I know I am. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the young guys can do. And then, obviously we're excited to see some of the veterans, Joey Votto, obviously, Jonathan India. I think he's going to shine. And really looking forward to Tyler Stevenson, seeing him in action. I mean, I've always liked him, but obviously we miss Tucker Barnhart, but it'll be cool to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's Tyler Stevenson's name that obviously pops up, like you said, with the advancement of Tucker. But what else necessarily? Is there anything particularly pitchers or something to mind you're excited about, or anything that really jumps out that way?
I really liked Lodolo in spring training. He's really good at striking guys out, which is exactly what we want, right?
That's a plus.
Yeah, so hopefully we see him a lot, get him in the rotation. Hunter Green had a little bit of a rough start the other day. What did he allow? 7 runs, but still feeling good about him. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, that's got to be super exciting to be able to watch him pitch here the next couple of days. We're going to get a lot of traffic on the Twitter, that's for sure. One way or the other.
Right? He's pitching Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see what he can do. When he did pitch the other day, it wasn't on TV, so we all just kind of had to follow along with the guys that were actually out there in spring training. Like, all right, someone post a video. Let's see this 100-mile ball that he can pitch out there. So
I'm still very optimistic of Hunter Green. I know.
Yeah.
It's like we just said before the show started, spring training numbers are spring training numbers. Excited I am to see Nick Senzel healthy. I'm still very okay about Hunter Green getting, really his first taste of big league batters. I don't know, Carlos, you can speak to that more than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have some nerves for sure, no matter, how poised and how mature he is for his age. It's still there's no way to go around it. So once he gets through that first inning, maybe that first batter even, the adrenaline will go away and he'll just go back to pitching. And I'm excited for that.
Now, how do you guys think Mally's going to do tomorrow with game 1 on the mound?
I think he's going to do well. I mean, he does well away from the park, so from Great American Ballpark. So hopefully he can continue that on the road with his first start, and we'll see how many innings he gets. Hopefully he can, maybe creep into the 5th. That might be pushing it so early in the season right now with a short camp, but I'm excited for everything.
Now, are you calling tomorrow opening day, or are we calling it game 1?
Game 1.
Yeah.
I'm calling it open day because I'm not a Cincinnati Ohioan, so
it's really weird for us. I've never experienced opening day on the road before, so I'm like, nah, next Tuesday when they're home and we've got the parade and we're broadcasting live at Holy Grail, that's when it's opening day.
I think the last time I was less than a year old, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
Yep, same. I'm like, I don't even know what that's like. This is crazy to me.
Are you going to go anywhere to watch the game, or where are you going to watch the game?
You know what? It's on late. You guys know I'm usually in bed by that time. I'm going to have to get in a nap at some point before the game gets started. I think I'm just going to be at home watching it. We're talking about making some Skyline conies and just relaxing in our comfies and taking it all in. But definitely next Tuesday, I'll be out and about all over the place starting at 9 a.m. So kind of resting up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Lots of coverage from start to finish with the parade, our broadcast at Grail, and then heading on over to the ballpark and everything else afterwards. So it's going to be a good day.
Yeah. Steven, I like the optimism. Yes, the last time the Reds played on the road to start the season, they did win the World Series. Was also a lockout season for a little bit too. So history repeating itself. Yeah.
What are you guys doing for the game tomorrow?
Making chicken wings at home and hanging out with my wife watching the game.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm actually going to be at a softball game.
Oh, so you missed some of it.
Yeah, I'm going to miss some of it. My daughter's got a softball game, so I'll probably miss about the first hour.
Hey,
I'm going to tell myself I'm going to record it and not look on Twitter to see what the score is.
There you go.
I know that's not going to happen.
Twitter. We'll all be tweeting the Reds fam about it.
Yeah.
But hey, there's 161 left to go. So
yeah, for sure. They're into it already. Like, they'll be dressed up in their Reds gear and people asking them why they're Cincinnati Reds fans in San Antonio, but it's all part of it.
And what players are you guys most excited about this season, other than like Joey Votto? We can't say him. He's kind of like their superstar right now.
Yeah.
The TikTok thing. He's on social media.
Yeah.
He killed it in spring training. So
I'm with you. I'm looking forward to watching Tyler Stevenson.
Yeah.
Get the majority of the opportunity catching this year. Spelling Joey over at first, DH in every hand. I've got high hopes for him.
The question is who's going to back up Stevenson?
Garcia. He had a monster spring.
12 home runs. How many did he hit?
Zero chance he hits as many home runs in spring as he had started the regular season. I'm excited about Jake Fraley. Jake Fraley's my guy. I think he's going to be a fan favorite. If anyone's who's watched any Mariners games, he was very well loved in Seattle. I think he'll rise up the fan ranks quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of Reds fans watching some Mariners games this year. I know I will whenever the Reds games are over and it's the West Coast games.
Because they had two of our former players over there.
Yeah, let's not dive too deep into that. Let's keep this.
I was going to say, let's not dwell on that. That was a tough day for us Cincinnati fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like the other day, they played Seattle, and those guys were in the lineup. I was like, this is weird.
But the Reds won, so the Reds won the trade. whatever.
There we go.
Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
really weird seeing those guys in their new jerseys. I'm like, all right, unfollow. I can't stand this.
Unfollow.
Enough of that.
So tell us a little about your dog. For those who don't know, you said you guys are frequent visitors of Bark in the Park, and she's
Yeah.
a guest with us tonight. So
Yeah, so this is Minnie. She's in her Reds jersey that she got from Bark in the Park a few years back. She's almost 12 years old, and she attends pretty much every Bark in the Park that they have. They have 4 this year, the first one being in May, so we'll definitely be there. Yeah, they get to walk on the warning track and sit in the stands, and I don't think there's any fireworks that go off for home runs that night. I think that's kind of the only change because they don't want to scare the dogs. But overall, it's a great night. If you've never been, highly recommend if you're a dog lover like myself. We have a great time when we're there.
Yeah, fireworks would not be a good idea.
nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
They put
My
up
dogs-
something on
Or
the screen
or they're
like,
hitting the doorbell. Bing dong.
yeah, no home run fireworks tonight. We don't want to freak out the pups.
Yeah. My dogs can't handle like people. Like one is like super energetic and the other's afraid of everybody. So I don't know if they're ready for that.
You know what though? I mean, we stay pretty much the entire 9 innings, but people come and go, and by the time you're sitting there, all the dogs kind of pass out after like the first inning. They're like over it.
Now, do you have to buy the dog a ticket?
You do. The dog has its own seat.
That's messed up.
Well, because I mean, she's like 12 pounds, but some dogs that go are like 100. They need their own seat. They need their own space.
My dogs are German Shepherd mixes, so they're like 50 pounds. So like it's
Yeah. Definitely a new seat. Definitely its own seat, right?
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's gonna be some pretty cool nights coming up at the ballpark. Again, after COVID, I'm just glad to see all the fun theme nights back and a full season, no mask mandate. So we're excited.
Sarah, so your hubby's a Cardinals fan. So what's that like during the year, especially at the end of last year?
Yeah, it's really awkward. I always said I'm not going to marry a Steelers fan or a St. Louis Cardinals fan. And well, joke's on me. He's not a Steelers fan, though, thankfully. He's a Green Bay Packers fan. But yeah, we go to every series that they're here, and we go see them on the road in St. Louis. But yeah, people were like, "Are you guys okay together? Are you guys gonna start fighting?" Or he's decked out in his Cardinals gear, I'm in my Reds gear, and oh yeah, we talk smack to each other. It's great.
So if the Cardinals are in the playoffs and the Reds aren't, are you cheering for the Cardinals?
No, never. I will never cheer for the Cardinals. He's like, "Will you put on a
That's the
Molina
spirit.
jersey?" I'm like, "Hell no, never. I would never wear a Cardinals jersey for you."
What about the other way? If the Reds are in and the Cardinals aren't, will he cheer for the
You know what's
Reds?
funny is that he'll wear his Red stuff
Damn
anytime
right.
that the two aren't playing each other. So the Reds are like his second team, and for me, I'm like, I don't even include your team. I don't even have a top 3. It's Reds or nothing.
I like it.
Go Red or go home. But yeah, we got all this series together, and it's a good time.
Nice.
Do you guys remember game 2 of the regular season last year? That big brawl between the 2 teams?
Yeah, how can we forget that?
I know. I'm
Were
like,
you-
well, that's a great way to get things started. They won that game, which is nice.
You were there for that?
We were there. Yeah, we were out in the outfield. And things got real interesting that day. So,
Things got a little weird.
yeah, things were a little weird that night.
I was there the next day when they won like 14-1 or something like that. Like it was my wife's first game ever, and they win like that. And then I took her a couple weeks ago and they play the Indians, and they win like 13-2. I
You're
had
like,
to look at her and be like, "It's not like this." Ever.
yeah. I feel like I never see those kind of games. I see like the 3-1 games, or I don't know. I just feel like I never see like the big scoring games. We got another pup friend.
We got dog friend.
Who is that?
This is Gustavo.
Hi, guys. Oh my, see this one. She's like licking me like, please take me to bed. See, you got to get Gus to bark in the park and hang out with us.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I promise you it's a great time. We'll get him a hot dog. We'll have some beers together. They've got pee pads out there in right field. It's fun.
For me or for the dog?
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for taking some time. We definitely appreciate having you.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
I know the majority of the Cincinnati fan base follows you already on the social medias, but for those who don't, if they want to reach out to you and see how they can follow you, what are the accounts and to keep up with you?
Yeah, Sara Elyse, SARAELYSE 128. That's me on Instagram and on Twitter.
Nice.
Lots of Cincinnati sports hype pictures and pictures of Minnie.
Sounds like my
Love it.
Instagram, except for my dogs.
Well, thanks for starting with me, guys. That way I could get my
She's yawning over there.
I know, she's like way past our bedtime, but no, this was great. It's all uphill from here. I see that you have Trent next, so he should be a good time for you.
Thanks so much, Sarah, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, go Reds and Who Day.
Go Reds.
That's the energy we needed to start this right there.
Yeah,
So
It's a good
that was
leadoff
really
hitter.
good. Yeah. And then I did see, I know we shout this out for the audios, for the people who listen on here, like, what the hell are we talking about? Our guy, Pabst Blue Monday, I saw you in the chat. I didn't forget. Carlos didn't forget either. I went tall boy tonight, though, so I don't know if I'm going to make it the whole show with this.
Oh, you went 2-story.
Yeah. One old 24-ouncer.
Oh, mine's just a regular old-fashioned tall boy. I'm just a 16.
Yeah, this is
You
all
went-
they had in the store today.
You went
so,
2-story.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Let's find the hard options of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yes, it is. It's either like you find like the 27 pack or like the 24-ounce can. So
Do they even make it in a bottle?
Pabst Blue Monday is probably the guy to answer that for us. So we'll make sure if he gets us the update in the chat, I'll make sure to let you know. But yeah, Sarah was awesome. We want to make sure we do, get her on there. So we have Trent Rosecrans coming up here soon. But Carlos, before you came on, before we had Sarah on, Nick and I were talking a little bit about our reaction to kind of what we saw in spring training, what we liked, what we didn't like. Nick mentioned Nick Senzel. As you know, I've talked a lot about my excitement for him this season. What really jumped out to you the most, either good or bad, truthfully, from the Reds in spring training? They did go 10-7.
I mean, the offense, right? I mean, they hit the ball really well. I know it's spring training, and if they don't hit well, we're like, oh, well, it's just spring training. It doesn't matter. But when they do hit well, it's kind of like, all right, here we go. So, I mean, that was pretty positive. I mean, everybody was hitting the ball pretty much. I mean, from what I can remember, I didn't look at every box score, but it just feels like, one game, at least somebody was going off, like having a really good game, not just a couple of singles here and there, but like a homer and a double or 2 doubles. And, that was pretty encouraging.
Yeah, it was. I know Nick's guy Aquino had a couple nice big homers, had a grand salami in a game. So I know he was excited there.
Yeah, I'm excited for Aquino to get a chance to at least platoon, every day and, see kind of what he's got. And above average hitter over his career against left-handed pitching. So let's see if it can keep up.
Perfect. Yeah.
Is he still considered a rookie?
I don't know.
I think this is like Nico.
Him and
Horner
Barrero are still going to battle it out for Rookie of the Year in their 8th season.
He still doesn't have 500 at bats.
You're still getting Topps packs. It still says rookie card in like 3 years. You're like, what is this? Like, we do have some time before Trent Rosecrans comes and joins us. Like Sarah said, who's our next guest in line here in a few minutes. So we did want to get to a couple questions. I know we've got a ton right now. It's unbelievable how many people we have here. So this is awesome. I want to read this one from the Mellow Medic. Honest question. I think Fraley is the guy we could see bat 250 given a full season. I know that's not what he needs to be, but just curious on his ceiling. Nick, you've been pretty high on Jake Fraley and what he's done this offseason. I mean, this spring training, you like that was what the recipient the Reds got in that trade. So what do you how do you react to this question?
Well, he's not going to be a high average guy. So I think he's a career 196. He's projected actually at 251. So maybe 250 would be really good for him. He's a high walk guy, high homer guy, high strikeout guy. So I think, a good season for him. I mean, he had 352 on base last year, 210 average and 352 on base. That's hard.
Walker.
That's hard to do. So, I mean, I would look more like, I think he could legit be a 350 on base guy. And it looks like the Reds are going to be batting him 9th. So he's going to basically be like your leadoff hitter the second time through the order. India's kind of your number 2 hitter, which obviously he has a lot of power. So that's what I'm really excited about is more of his on base ability. And I do think, I mean, he's shown like some flashes of power. Going from the ballpark out in Seattle to Great American. I mean, I think he's going to have a few more, cheap home runs, and I think he could maybe, push that like 15, 20 home runs.
I like it. I'm all for it. He's really low key for those who play MLB The Show. Jake Fraley's low key really nice in that game. So if you can snag him, like in your Diamond Dynasty, good swing. Good guy to have.
That's interesting. I only saw like one AB from him this year, and I didn't even look at his numbers and his baseball reference or anything like that. Awesome host of the podcast show, but to have that high of an on base percentage with that low of a batting average, holy cow! What are these pitchers doing?
Was it like Yasmani Grandal last year for the White Sox? He had like a 184 with like a 380 on base or something like that.
Holy cow, that's amazing.
The wild thing is in Double-A in 2019, he hit 313 and over 200 plate appearances. So he wasn't really this super low average guy, I guess, till he got to the majors. So, I mean, I don't know. His average might go up a little bit. His on base might go a little down, but he's a guy that really has hit right-handed pitching well over his career. And then last year really, really hit right-handed pitching well. So I think he's going to have a nice year. I'm really excited to see kind of what he can do, especially, batting ninth.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that question, Melomedic. I appreciate it. What else we got here? We got Hunter Bivens. Question, back end of the bullpen. Who's getting the high leverage spots? I like Art Warren. I figure Sims will once he comes back. We kind of talked about this a little bit last week and kind of the guys we thought. Obviously, not having TJ Antone absolutely sucks. So this is going to kind of make things really interesting here. Yeah, I really like Art Warren. I think he has really made a good spot, but I'm still pretty high on Luis Sessa. I talked about that quite a bit, last season after the trade and what he was able to do. So I could really see a situation where I don't know if Luis Sessa is going to be quote unquote a closer. I know that's the question we use a lot, but like as far as like potential like high leverage situation, I think he showed his ability to do so last year. So I'm going to slot number 85 in there for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these guys are quality. I think Tony Santillan is a quality reliever. I like what I've seen out of Moreta. Hunter Strickland, he's one of those guys that I could see having a really, really good year for the Reds or a really, really bad year for the Reds. I feel like he's kind of a coin flip, at 33, going on 34 years old. But, you need those coin flip guys, to build a bullpen. So I think this bullpen's a lot better than at least what we had at the start of last year, at least a lot deeper. You may not have the Antone and the Sims, but I think you have more guys that at least you feel you can send out there and have a chance to get out without allowing a run or 3 walks.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have more of an idea of what we're going to get whenever that person jogs out than what we did last year for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I don't see many Senzel Perez's.
No,
yeah,
no.
To answer the question, I'm thinking it's going to be Santillan and Sessa, right? Who are going to be the most high leverage spots. I don't think either one's going to be pinned in as a closer.
If you see on Fangraphs, they do like this is their projections, and their lineup is a little wonky. It's not right. I just copied off there. They have 5 closers listed for the Reds. They have no idea who's going to be closing games.
I didn't even look at the roll.
It's like in '99 when they had that really awesome year. They used Scott Williamson, Scott Sullivan, and Danny Graves. They kind of like rotated as closers. So kind of goes proof to, I don't know if closer by committee makes sense or what. But yeah, I like that.
Having 5 closers, that's like a made up MLB The Show team that I traded for like 5 closers to put on my team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, we do have our next guest here hanging out with us. Our good friend hanging out. See, Trent, where are you currently?
Cheers, buddy.
I'm in Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia. Having a cold one like we are here. So cheers, my friend.
Yeah, I'm at the Manhattan Cafe, my favorite bar in the world. I've spent many hours in this place, and yeah, life is good. I'm about to go, after I get done with you guys, I'm going to go see the Drive-By Truckers at the 40 Watt.
Oh,
Good
nice.
That's right. You're home, aren't you? You're in your stopping grounds.
I am literally home. This bar is kind of like home for me. It's brilliant. It's just I couldn't be happier. I've been this happy in a long time.
Well, good.
That's a hell of an opening day eve right there, see, Trent.
Yeah, it can't be beat. I'm gonna go put this in the bar and walk over. But yeah.
Well,
Awesome footage.
See, Trent, you did
Start
get your
pick your hand up and act like you're waving to people as you're walking through the bar. So, hey guys.
That's true. See, Trent's had a year. The Georgia Bulldogs won the college football championship. It's been a good year for C. Trent.
It just says I'm here. This makes. I've had a year. I don't know that I would say it's a good year, but the Bulldogs did win. That is accurate.
So I do real quick. You did get your first this season going back to Arizona. You guys were back in the clubhouse. You kind of got to do your regular job again for the first time in a while. How nice and refreshing was that to kind of feel like it was like, were you feeling like you're back in a rhythm?
No, it felt so weird that it was the exact opposite. I was like, oh yeah, I do stand around a lot. It was interesting. I'm glad we have it back. I think stuff gets much better, but I have not found my rhythm yet. That would be fair to say.
Well, we talked a little bit before you came on just about the team had a pretty decent spring. What had kind of really jumped out to you the most from the spring training and what you saw, whether it was offensively, pitching wise, anything that really impressed you or the lack thereof?
Joey Votto. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, something like
pretty good. Pretty good. And I thought Nick Senzel looked really good. And those are two guys that are going to have to be good for what's this? They're going to have to be really good to for this team to compete at all.
Nice. So, did you have any good interaction with any of the players? That you normally missed out on the last 2 years. Did you get any good stories from them? Any stuff?
Oh yeah, I had another Joey Votto bat story, my third one in the last couple months.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That was a really good one. Spring training, sometimes it's not about like the actual stories, but it is very much about building a relationship for the stories later down the road. And so, it was really good. It was good to be back. A lot of it, I just had to kind of reintroduce myself to people, and that was difficult.
Yeah. How about locker watch? How fun was that?
It was so weird because like you just kind of go in every day, and there's new ones, and things. You kind of do that in spring anyway, but it's usually not for like a Tommy Pham or it's not major league deals. This was like the off season was, the first week of spring training was still like the whole off season compressed into one little time.
Yeah.
See, Trent, we got a question from Reds in 4. Who on the Reds has a bigger personality than we might think? Who's going to be a fan favorite?
Those are two different things. Like one of them, like everybody tells me Tyler Naquin is just the funniest, goofiest, best guy. And with us, he's pretty reserved. So it's kind of interesting. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think anybody's lying to me or misleading me, but that's one of them. Who else? I'm trying to think. Kind of going through. It's not Tommy Pham. He's pretty quiet and intense. Jake Fraley seems to be pretty quiet. This Votto guy has a little personality as well. But I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of anybody new, and it seemed to be a pretty low key group for the most part.
Yeah. Do y'all have anybody that works with the Athletic that does stuff in Spanish?
Yeah, Maria Torres.
Okay.
And that's something that's, I mean, I know Maria Torres does. Who else speaks Spanish? Fabian Hernande. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce Fabian's last name, but he covers the Dodgers. Maria's doing more prospect stuff for us. That is something that we have a dearth of, and it's like I've said this many times. It's like I'm ashamed at how bad my Spanish is, especially considering I lived in South Texas. It should be much better than.
Where did you live in South Texas?
Corpus Christi.
Ooh, a dirty. Nice.
Yeah, I went 7th through 10th grade.
Oh,
Flower
wow.
Bluff High School.
Oh, Flower Bluff. Nice. They came to our baseball tournament every year. It's nice.
Yeah.
I've
got a good
the reason I
team
asked
now.
that question about Spanish is because we got to set up an interview with Joey in Spanish.
Yeah, or French.
Yeah. I feel like the Spanish might hit a few more people, though.
Yeah, it might, but the French might be more fun.
True.
This is true.
It's a little bit different.
Half and half. Then the people reading this article will be really confused.
Yeah.
Or listening to the article or the
Yeah, if you have
interview.
Pocket, you can listen to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pocket's a genius app for anyone who doesn't have it. They don't pay me to advertise. So we have you on, and obviously it's awesome. This is your second time joining us. I can't have you on here without asking you about
like his
Nick
third.
Lodolo and Hunter Green. And I know our fans want to get your thoughts on it as well. So what did you kind of take away from them in their spring training and what you saw? Obviously, starting the season in the rotation with the lack thereof arms.
Yeah, I think it's good. These are guys that are going to, they need to get in the games and have some experience. It's not always going to be pretty, but both of them have really good stuff. I was really impressed with Lodolo. Not just his stuff, but his command, his presence. It's this really weird thing, and maybe you can back me up here, Carlos. But guys, there's something to be said for. There's a certain way that guys look and carry themselves when they feel like they belong. And last year, I swear to God, I just remember looking around last year at spring training, and I think I've said this several times, even then before everything, but it's just I just remember talking to everybody. It's India looks different this year. He looks like a big league, and before that he didn't. He'd be kind of timid or whatever. And last spring he looked like he belonged. Nick Lodolo looked like he belonged, and he just looked like a big leaguer. And his breaking ball is one of a kind. It's really sweepy. It's funny. Some of the catchers call it a breaking ball. Some of it call it a slider. Some call it a curveball. Nick calls it a curveball. Whatever it is, it's just kind of disgusting. This big, sweepy left-handed curve that comes out of this long, lanky guy, and it's really interesting. And I think he's going to be. He's a guy I'm actually really, really excited to see. It'll be really cool when Hunter Green comes out and pops 104 on his first pitch. But it's Lodolo that he's impressed me, and I think he's looking better, and I'm getting more excited about Lodolo than I had in the past.
Yeah, I bought a lot of Lodolo cards, including autos, so I feel like I got some good stock there.
Good.
Yeah, that Trent, you're talking about that's real, where a player can feel like they belong, like the shoulders, come down a little bit, a little more relaxed. You walk with your chest out like you normally do, like you were the man, and you feel like you belong. You know that you can play mentally. You've seen what's there. He's been through a camp already. He knows and he feels that. I can speak from personal experience. Whenever I went to my first big league camp, it was with a brand new team. I knew one person, and that was because, I played against them in, throughout the minor leagues. But I was just about as timid as I could get. And that's not where you want to be as a player.
No, not at all.
So,
I'll tell you who else, shocked me. And not that I didn't think he was a good player or a good talent, but just the way he carried himself and looked, was Matt McClain. Matt McClain looked like a big leaguer already.
That's good to know.
And that's saying something. Because, even a guy like India, he didn't at first in his first camp. McClain coming into his first camp, just It sounds silly. I think it does, but it just looked like a big league game. That's a great sign.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, see, Trent, we wanted you to go and enjoy your time back home. I do have to get one quick question out of you, not baseball related, before we let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Your excitement level for Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus.
Oh, off the charts. Off the charts.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I think it's cool. Did you ever read John Jackson Miller's Kenobi?
I have not.
It's a good one. It's not canon, but it's a really enjoyable read.
Good to know.
I think Nick's got some rapid questions for you, C-Trip.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
A couple
Bring it,
rapid fire questions from the chat. Let's just do, what's your favorite Reds minor league uniform?
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. Green is my favorite color, so it's tough to go between Dayton and Daytona. I really like the blue and green combo of Daytona, so I'm going to go with the Tortuga goes by a nose or a fin over the Dragons, although I think the Lookouts have the best logo. I just hate the color red.
Breakout player in 2022 for the Reds.
Good one. Is it? Can you say Stevenson even after last year?
Yeah.
Okay, Stevenson. No, I got another one. Art Warren.
Ooh, like it. All right,
I
last
like a little reliever talk.
question.
I'm kissing up to the relievers.
Last
Love
question.
it.
I'm sure you could talk about this one for like an hour, but real quick, wrong one. Real quick, your thoughts on Elly De La Cruz from camp.
You know, you talk about not looking like a big leaguer. He looked like big league talent, not ready. But that swing, it looks like Eric Davis to me. It's like a left-handed Eric Davis. He's a physical specimen. I watched him a lit on the backfields. And, you know, before the spring, I heard a lot of, like, it's boom or bust. And I heard more people raising the floor on Elly De La Cruz. There's still a lot of swing and miss. He's still really young. It's a really interesting assignment, pushing him to high A. They're going to challenge this kid right off the bat. But this talent's unbelievable. It is a true five-tool player. And just the speed, the arm, the bat, the power, it's all there. It really is. And they I kept, every time they talked, I said, you really think this guy could stick it short? Because you just look at him. He's all of 6'5". And they really do. They just think the body works, and it's 6'5". So yeah. I mean, you could also see him going to center or corner outfield. I mean, every right-handed player is a shortstop till they're not. And so he really could be. And they have a lot of shortstops, and that's what you want. You know, if you have a lot of corner guys in the low minors, I mean, like, where do you go from there? Shortstop, you go other places. And, I mean, I can see De La Cruz as a center fielder. I can see him as a right fielder. I can see him at third base, or even shortstop. But he's an impressive specimen.
Awesome. That's good to know. Well, hey, man, I know we'll check in with you throughout the season. Thank you so much for taking some time with us.
So was I second in this lineup?
You were.
You put your best hitter, see, Trent. That's what I'm saying.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that as the lineup and not like the opening act. Like
You're the Mike Trout number 2 hitter.
Bill.
The Mike Trout number 2 hitter, not the Orlando Cabrera number 2 hitter.
I love Orlando Cabrera. Great guy. Hey, I'll take that. Good save there, Carlos.
You got it, buddy.
All right, guys.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Yep, definitely. Bye.
Look at C. Trent living his best life, man. Good for him.
So jealous.
I know.
Not really.
You guys.
I'd rather hang out with you guys.
You don't have to lie.
I'm 40. I'm old. I don't need to be at a bar. Tell me tomorrow.
Well, we do have our next guest on here as we're going to keep this door going. You can check him out, the Cincinnati Enquirer covering the Reds. This is Bobby Nightengale. Bobby, welcome back to the show, man. I know last time you were here, I wasn't, but we're excited to have you back.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't like a personal thing, like you left that week because of me or something.
No, not at all. I think I had to work a basketball game, probably. That's my life from November to March, so yeah.
I love basketball. Same excuse.
Yeah, I hear you. So we asked C. Trent this, so we want to get your thoughts on it as well. Obviously, a somewhat normal spring training for the media. You guys were in the clubhouse, and you guys got to be around the team a little more. What was that like for you? C. Trent said he hasn't found his rhythm yet per se, but would you say like you're kind of getting more comfortable to be like what you're familiar with from your time covering baseball?
Yeah, getting back to stories that we weren't able to do over Zoom, you're starting to remember like, oh yeah, that's a story I like to do 3 years ago, and try to pick that up. I will say like I remember the first time we walked in because Rob Butcher kind of taped us like, you guys are welcome back to the clubhouse. And there was like 3 players in there. No one wanted to talk. And I was like, this is normal. Back to, just standing around waiting for guys to come into the clubhouse to talk to them.
And then you were there for minor league camp before the CBA agreement, right?
I was not. I was going to fly out basically when the agreement happened. I was going to fly out that week anyway. So it just turned into, I only covered big league camp. But I had plans to go to my league camp before the lockout ended.
Gotcha. Okay. So kind of get your thoughts obviously throughout this on the team. You talked when you were on the show last time about the optimism in the organization around Nick Senzel, and, obviously had a really good spring training. Looked like he was healthy, most importantly, but swung the bat really well. Seems like he's kind of taking ownership of center field. What did you kind of take away from Senzel's performance throughout the spring?
Yeah, one, that he's healthy. I mean, that was kind of the biggest question mark coming into the season, just based off how last year ended. I mean, missed 120 some games with the knee injury. The team hoped he'd come back in the second half, and he wasn't able to because of some fluid buildup. So that was the main thing, just seeing him be healthy. I mean, it's something where the organization still looks at him as, hey, this is the guy we took number 2 in the draft. He was a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. If you look at his rookie year before his last month, he tried a swing change that didn't work. Before that, he played really high quality baseball, almost like what people think like Jonathan India. India obviously took it to a completely another level in the second half last year, but there's no reason Nick Senzel can't have that type of impact. And from the Reds' perspective, throughout the spring, you saw like, let's keep him comfortable. He's only going to play center field right now. Obviously last year he kind of did some stuff in the infield. There was none of that this spring. It was just like, okay, he's healthy, keep him in center, keep him settled, get him ready for the season because, it's huge if he's healthy, can play 140 games, which is his goal, and can deliver offensively.
Yeah, you were the guy that got me back on the Nick Senzel hype train because everyone thought that Nick Senzel was going to get like traded or dealt or something this offseason. And you came on and you're like, nah, I really think the Reds are still high on this guy. And that has aged very well so far, Bobby. So well done there. I got a quick question for you. With like the relievers, as we kind of head in, the Reds have like 18,000 of them. Do you like the plan with him? Do you think there's a lot of guys that maybe aren't going to be going back to back to start? What are you kind of hearing about like how the relievers will be used here these at least first like 4 days?
Yeah, I think a few guys did go back to back in camp. Some of them went in minor league games on the second day, so you didn't see them like show up in the Cactus League box scores on back to back days. But there are a few guys who did it, like Tony Santillan, I know did it right before camp ended. But I think you're going to see a lot of like multi-inning guys, like Santillan's a multi-inning guy, Jeff Hoffman. You're going to see those guys. I mean, they're going to have to fill innings. These starters are only going maximum 90 pitches first time through the rotation, probably closer to 70 or 80. And that's, best case scenario, they're pitching well and not getting hit around. So I do think just the shortened camp, starters aren't built up to where they usually are. You're going to see kind of that where you have to have those long relievers, guys who can do 2-3 innings at a time, especially if they're effective like Tony Santillan should be. And then you have your back end group, which is probably like the Hunter Strickland, Art Warren, Justin Wilson, that group, Lucas Sims when he's healthy, obviously. that could step in at for the 7th, 8th, 9th innings. Luis Cessa too.
So you brought up that point about pitchers not really be able to, with starters not being fully stretched out. We've talked about that with Carlos quite a bit. Kind of get your thoughts on this, not to give your prediction by any means, but we were talking about the over-under prop bets for this team, and Tyler Mahle is currently over-under for wins is 10.5. Do you think with this shortened offseason, it's likely he could go under? Because even with like a shortened camp, I still don't see it likely that he only gets 9 wins or so, even though wins are a dumb stat.
What was he at last year?
Off the top of my head, I'll have to look.
I mean, I could see
quiz or.
The one thing I could see with him early is he is a high pitch count type guy. I mean, he does, throw 100 pitches in 5 innings usually. Reds are really excited about his potential. But I could see something where, like, if he doesn't complete that 5th inning, where that comes into play. And also the bullpen. I mean, I forgot what the number was last year, but I think he led baseball in blown saves in his starts. So that's something too, where it's just like, it was out of his control after he left the game. But I think he'll have an effective year. I would take over on 10.5, but I do see some scenarios where it could be under, just kind of out of his hand.
Yeah, he had 13 last year, so.
Yeah, I would say 10.5 would be a good bet.
Bobby, do you know if the Reds are one of the teams that's going to start using those electronic signals from the catcher to the pitcher?
I know they used it at the end of camp. Hunter Green was really open to it. You can tell. I mean, other teams used it more than they did. But it really speeds up the game just because the catcher really sends in the signal before the pitcher, like, he catches the ball and then goes back to the mound. That's when the signs are usually given to each other. So by the time he steps on the rubber, I mean, the pitcher already knows what pitch he's throwing, which really sped it up in spring training. I don't know if they'll do it during real games. I remember David Bell said he had questions like, like bunt plays and such. And, the catcher gave me out signs for that. And he's like, it would look a little awkward if, say, you want to do a pickoff to first, and that's the only time you do signs is, handheld signs. So I think they were trying to figure that out. I know they're open to it. But Hunter Green, I think, was probably the most optimistic starter to being like, hey, if this is the future of baseball, I might as well get used to it.
I hadn't looked into it too much or paid attention at all, really. How does the pitcher get the signs? Is he wearing a wristband or?
It's like it's not an earpiece, but it's like it's in their hat. It's really quiet, and it's English and Spanish, but it's like a little device. Apparently you can hear it better just because it's like next to your ear and next to your head, so like the vibrations help. But that's the way they do it. It's a little you can tell when you look for it just because it's a little bigger than something extra in their hat.
Do the middle infielders get that too, or one of them?
I read that. Yeah, I don't know if the Reds ever did, but I heard 3 extra players are allowed to wear it, so it would make sense. Shortstop would get it, second base would get it, and maybe center field.
That'd be wild if center fielder could get it.
You'd probably see them, like, probably helps them out, like, more in tune with, like, an off-speed pitch. This guy's probably going to go off, opposite field or something.
Absolutely.
We got some questions here for you, Bobby, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Adam asked, what player do you see that didn't make the opening day roster be the first one called up?
The easiest one's Nick Lodolo. All signs point to him being the 5th starter, so he'll probably be up by the 6th game of the season. After that, maybe I feel like an injury would have to come into play. The problem is you have so many guys coming back from the IL in April, and then the roster goes down 2 guys. So it's almost like an injury is what's going to have to open up a spot, because you're going to see Lucas Sims come back pretty quick. Mike Minor's already throwing. Luis Castillo's throwing. Jose Barrero will be back at some point. Max Schrock. So it's like maybe TJ Friedel would be kind of on that bubble. I can't think of another infielder that just missed camp, that would jump in.
Since the roster is so big, whenever they get, like, say, a relief pitcher, if he gets down, does that still count as one of the options? Since it's a bigger roster at the beginning? No?
It starts whenever the roster goes back to 26, then you're only allowed to be optioned 5 times. Yeah. Doesn't start till then.
It sucks for the pitcher.
Yeah.
Bobby, when Minor and Castillo come back, who gets removed from the rotation? Do you think it's? I'm going to add to this question. Do you think it's set in stone? Who they feel pretty confident who they're going to send down, or do you think it's really between San Martin, Green, and Lodola, which of them pitches the best in their 2 starts or however many they get?
Yeah, I don't think it's set in stone just because you don't know when they're going to be back. I mean, you remember last year Michael Lorenzen was supposed to miss the first 2 weeks of the season, and it ended up being 3 months. So I don't think they make it predetermined. San Martin, I think, is a big league pitcher. I think he'd fit in the bullpen, left-handed, a lot different than kind of the firearms. Throws 90 miles an hour, has a lot of junk, but throws it for strikes. I think he's a big league pitcher no matter what. With Green and Lodola probably especially. I mean, he only threw 50-some innings last year. At some point, they're going to have to manage his innings because, I mean, there's no way he's going to last 130 innings this year, 140. I mean, that's asking a lot for a guy who, this is really his first pro baseball season, I think. I mean, full season if he stays healthy, just based off the fact he got drafted, COVID year. He had the blister and got limited last year. So if he pitches a full season, I don't know what his max is, but I'm not sure he's ever gotten above 100, 110 innings in a season before.
We got to get you to get that inside info because I know they got that number already.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on Buck Farmer?
Yeah, he looked really good. I remember I saw his first live batting practice session. Fastball was apparent. I mean, he got a lot of swings and misses on his fastball. Slider was really good. I remember David Bell, when they announced the bullpen a few days ago, he said, hey, he's probably not a guy who we saw as making the team out of camp when we signed him, but he pitched so well that he kind of forced his way on. And then it kind of showed in Cactus League games too. I think he pitched 5 scoreless innings with like 9 strikeouts and 0 or 1 walks. So he earned his spot. He looked dominant every time we saw him.
Also has a great baseball name. Just an awesome name.
Yeah. Now we have 2 Farmers. So it's like weird writing stories now because it's like, oh, every Kyle Farmer reference or Buck.
We need Kyle to come in as an emergency catcher and have the farmer battery. That would be.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, we're on to something here.
A Brandon Drury question. Do you think he'd be a factor of the bench? I'm curious. Do you think he will get some starts against left-handed pitching?
I think so, especially with Donovan Solano hurt. I think Donovan Solano is going to be a regular starter against lefties for sure, and even some righties. So I think he fills that need. You're also gonna see him play some shortstop. He's the only backup shortstop on the Reds major league roster. So yeah, I see Drury playing a lot, and especially against lefties.
Nice. Yeah, we like it. Well, Bobby, this is awesome. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk with us. Before we let you go and get you out of here, we're giving everyone a chance to kind of shout out their social medias where people can find their work. So the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, at Nightengale JR is my Twitter, Cincinnati.com for all the stories. Gonna have a lot of stuff up over the next 24 hours, season preview type stuff. So check out Cincinnati.com.
Perfect. Well, Bobby, we definitely appreciate it, man. We'll check back to the season, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Anytime,
Bobby.
man.
See you, Bobby.
All right. Well, that was really good. I mean, that was really fun. So we got Mo Egger coming up here in a little bit. But I do want to make sure I point this out because I know Daniel Steele is saying in the comments today, TJ Friedel hit a 3-run homer tonight. So he's starting off he's getting off to a nice start there in the Ville.
Yeah, it's good. Get him some at-bats, get him ready. I'm fine with him. I know everyone was mad about him not being on the roster, but I just, where's he going to play? Like there's really no one that he can play over right now. You're not pinch hitting for the pitcher. He's not a platoon advantage for any of the left-handed bats. So I think it's great. I mean, I think he's a guy that you want down in AAA. You want him getting the at-bats. You want him ready because he's a guy that honestly, if like, Jake Fraley got hurt, would probably step in every day. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got some old questions. I'm trying to. It's awesome. We got so many on here. I'm trying
Gotta
to.
go on a beer run. I'll be right back.
Also, while
Thanks
we're doing
for the update.
make sure I give this another quick shout out. We shout out at the beginning of the show. If you just joined us, we do now have merch again. We're merch guys now. If you want to support Late Night Reds Talk Live, go to latenighreds.merchmake.com. T-shirts, dog bandanas, shot glasses, beer steins, coffee mugs, coasters. Come on, support your favorite Reds podcasts. We definitely appreciate it. So all there at latenighreds.merchmake.com.
All right. Over under Jake Fraley stolen bases.
Ooh.
Interesting question. Jake Fraley did steal
Like this question.
33 bases in rookie ball. This was in 55 games. He stole 33 bases in 55 games.
Holy
Yeah. He kind of slowed down since. I mean, he had 16 in AA and 61 games. That's still quite a bit. And then he stole 10 bases last year in 78. So I'm going to put it at like 15 just because I think he's going to probably play 120, 130 games if he's healthy. So I'll put it 14.5. Carrick, that's my my official status.
I'll go over the 14.5.
Yeah.
Hashtag optimistic Reds guy.
Absolutely. And Tim,
That
we
will-
all agreed. Nick Senzel's
Yeah.
most exciting. Like, yeah.
If you've been listening to this show since everything happened, since the CBA, that's the guy I've been talking about the most. So, really, really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a great point from Melomedic.
Yeah, kind of on here too. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think the Reds are going to steal a lot more bases than they did last year. I mean, I think they were the worst in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Let's get Carlos in there. He's a big Tommy Pham guy. Do you expect Tommy Pham to have 50 home runs this year?
50.
64.
About 48.
Take
Be
it.
reasonable. How many did he have last year?
I can tell you.
Look real quick. Everyone with these stats questions.
I think I got
He had 15 last year.
Ooh, 15. I'm going to go with the over.
He's projected for 18 by most.
18.
Nice. Well, we do also have our next guest here with us. You can check him out every day on ESPN 1530 and also Cincy 360. Our good pal and yours, of course, Mr. Mo Egger. Mo, welcome back to the show. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. What's going on? How we doing? Happy opening night eve.
Same to you, buddy.
Yeah. I said I wasn't going to refer to it as opening day or opening night because the Reds aren't at home, and then that's really petty of me. So I'll discard that for you people.
You are the second of 4 people to say that, so
Yeah,
maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
There you go. What's going on?
Well, obviously, I kind of get your thoughts. I know you've had to talk about this on the daily on your radio talk show about just a really up and down, unique off season. I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on what you read, saw, anything you really took away that jumped out the most from any spring training reports that got you excited for the season or lack thereof.
So, what got me excited is, and I talked about this a little bit today on the radio. I don't really know how good the Reds bullpen's going to be, but I do know that I'm not going into this season going, God, that guy stunk over there, and boy, that dude's arm is about to fall off. And why do they bring in Sean Doolittle and then having to make Sean Doolittle jokes? So here's what I like in just following everything happening in Goodyear in Arizona. That there appears to be a concerted effort to not fill the bullpen with just random dudes, right? So the less Carson Fulmers and Brad Brocks and Sean Doolittles and good God, it felt like Heath Henry pitched in 135 games last year. The more I don't have to read about guys like that, the more excited I get. So I sort of start there, I mean, they have younger guys, or at least some guys who are closer to what should be their primes in the bullpen that might end up having pretty good seasons. And if that's the case, well, yeah, sign me up for that. So that excites me. I know there's a lot of skepticism, and I share it to a large degree about Nick Senzel, but I'm pleased to see him having a really good and productive spring training, because as much as people want to dismiss the idea that this guy could contribute, he was the second overall pick in 2016. He was the payoff for that awful 98 loss season. They've sort of jerked him around in terms of where they're going to play him, but he's still here. And you talk about somebody who can help absorb the loss of some of the players who are no longer here. He could obviously do that. And I'm, obviously just been watching and reading everybody who's been salivating over the likes of Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. And that's really exciting. And it feels like every time I turn on Tommy Thrall and Jeff Brantley, they're raving about Aramis Garcia, and they talk about how well he strikes out a lot, but man, when he connects, he hits the ball really, really hard. And so, I think that's going to be kind of fun. It's been a weird spring because it's, when you talk about the Reds, everybody is, and I know I have, focus on management, ownership, the overall direction of the club, people's disaffection with maybe what people in the front office are doing. And then it feels like there's almost this entirely separate entity of the building of the roster, all the injuries that they've had to sort through, who's going to play certain roles this year, who's going to win jobs, who's going to fill roles of the departed, who's going to fill roles of players who got injured during spring training, who's going to make up the starting rotation, how David Bell is going to utilize the bullpen. And it sort of feels like, and I hate that this is the case, and I'm frankly guilty of it, it feels like we have spent less time talking about that than we perhaps should, because I've said this often. I don't necessarily think the Reds are going to be really, really good. I do think they have a lot of really interesting things about them. And so I'm excited for the season to start, because some of what I find interesting will start to play out in games that count beginning tomorrow night.
Mo, do you kind of feel like this team is maybe one of the highest variance teams that we've seen in a long time? Like you could see them, 15 wins one way or the other?
Yeah, Nick, you're probably the most optimistic person I know. And so my guess is you have this team winning 138 games.
84.
Okay.
Calm down.
Yeah. I see. I have a hard time believing that they're going to be a 95 loss team, right? So, all right. So I start with what's the worst this team can be? I know what a 95 loss team looks like. I lived, as we all did, through all those years, 15, 16, 18, and I guess not so much 19, although they certainly weren't very good. This doesn't look like any of those teams. They certainly don't look like a 95 win team. So I always start with all right, what's the worst that I expect this team to do? And, granted, they could just suffer all sorts of injuries, and there could be some guys who underperform to levels that I don't expect. But I've asked about this on my show, where I go, okay, Vegas says the over-under is 72.5, and I get people telling me they're going to lose 100 times. Well, number one, they've lost 100 games once in their history. I don't think people realize how hard it is to lose 100 games. I mean, as god-awful as they were all those years in the last decade, they really only approached 100 losses one time, and I think they had to lose 15 of their last 14. 14 of their last 15 in order for them to lose 98 games. So I don't think this is a 95 loss team. So, all right, so I start there. Then I go, okay, well, how good do I think they can be? I don't think they can be a 90 win team. I think they're about, at best, an 85, maybe an 85 win team. And, who knows if that's going to be good enough to get them to the postseason. I think I looked the other day, the last 10 years, the sixth best record in the National League was at least 86 and 76. And there have been exceptions, obviously, one of them being last year. So, all right. So I think they can max out at about 85 wins. And then I think the worst case is, 72, 73. So I don't know if that's an extremely wide variance. Neither are great, neither are god-awful. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And residing right there in the middle is 78, 79 wins. And I think that's about where they're going to be. But where I do break from a lot of people is you have a hard time convincing me that with this starting staff and with the offensive upside that they have, and I share everybody's concern about how good the outfield offensive production is going to be. I just have a hard time believing, especially when they play the Pirates and Cubs a bunch, that we're going to spend the summer talking about a team that has a shot at losing 95 to 100 games. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we've kind of been preaching throughout since the CBA, and we could talk about this again. One thing that kind of popped up from a listener earlier, and I kind of get your thoughts on this, is, even with these, it sucks, obviously, they lose these bats like Winker and Castellanos, but the guys they've brought in, the guys who are aging like Indy and Senzel, who are getting more adapted to Major League Ball, kind of feel like they're going to be a little bit more aggressive on the base path with this youth they're bringing in. What are your thoughts on potentially seeing this team? Obviously, no Billy Hamiltons and Deion Sanders by any means, but maybe just being a little bit more aggressive on the base paths.
Yeah, to me, it's first of all, I love any brand of baseball where there's more stuff happening and it's not station to station. And this team is probably going to have to figure out ways to do that. I guess what I would want to know is, are they going to cross the line from aggressiveness to stupid? Because there's nothing that drives us nuts more than toot plans. First time in 2022 I've said toot plan. So yeah, but I certainly think they, with a guy like Jonathan India, who, I said this late last year, he's solved what has felt like the eternal, quest for a leadoff hitter. It's felt like my entire adult life, with the exception of the year they had Shin-Soo Choo, they've been looking for a leadoff hitter. So it feels like he's solved that. I think this team is probably going to have to do that, right? When your offense top to bottom doesn't have as many bats that you can count on, how can you steal a base? And I'm not talking about stealing bases, although that certainly could be a part of what they do, but how can you grab an extra 90 feet? How can you squeeze across a run in ways that don't exactly involve sitting around waiting for a 2 or 3 run homer? I think they're going to have to do that. And so I guess what I want to know is, if that's the plan going in, does it work? Or does it add up to a team that has a very small margin for error, giving away more outs on the bases than they can withstand? But yeah, I like the brand of baseball that's less station to station, a little bit more aggressive, and forces the defense to do things. And, you are going to run yourself into outs occasionally, I guess. But over the course of the season, I think if this team is going to reach its potential offensively, they're going to have to do a little bit more of that. And I do think to a degree they have at least some personnel who gives them that capability.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. So you do on your show, you do the regular locks of the night. I'm curious if I read you some over-unders from our sponsors at Bet Online, could you kind of give a little prediction how you feel they'll go for prop bets?
I'll do my best. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
All right. So the one most important I'm curious about, Joey Votto, over-under of 29.5 home runs. Mind you, he hit 30-something last year and missed the month.
Yeah. I'm going over that. I read the Eno Saris piece from theathletic.com, who believes Joey Votto is going to hit 40, and it's not going to surprise me if the number comes close to that. It's a hitter-friendly park. Ideally, he plays a full season. They can sort of mitigate to a degree the effects of aging by having him DH. You can give him an off day without really giving him an off day. I think he's going to hit a lot with guys on base because of the guys in front of him. So, the teams aren't going to be able to necessarily just put him on. I feel pretty comfortable about that. And also, he's going to face the crappy pitching of the Pittsburgh Pirates 1,000 times. He also seems ready to get off to a good start, which, before the injury last year, that really didn't happen. He came back from the injury in early June and then started mashing, but the MO for Joey has been, over the course of his career, even during really good seasons, he doesn't necessarily get off to a great start. There seems to be something about him. And if you looked at the way he swung the bat over the weekend in Arizona, there does seem to be something about him that would suggest he can get off to a good start. So to me, you combine all those factors. I don't know that he's going to hit 40. I do feel pretty good about him in a season in which he turns 39 years old. I do feel pretty good about him hitting 30.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to hit home runs too, right? Like, I mean, that to me is the coolest part. And it begs a terrific question, which is, what would Joey Votto's career look like? And how would people talk about him had he embraced this approach, a few years ago? So to me, a Joey Votto who's healthy and somewhat protected and facing crappy pitching, who's trying to hit home runs, I don't know how you take the under.
Yeah, I'm with you. This one I'm a little interested on because of the fact that he's going to be the team's leadoff hitter, like we mentioned. But they're saying that Jonathan India is over-under for RBI this year, and I'm not an RBI guy. I think it's a weird stat. 74.5. I don't know. That's an interesting bet for me.
So here's the thing. I care about RBIs so little. I have no idea how many he had last year, right? So it's like Tony Pike brought up to me today. He was talking about, I'm going to go Tyler Mahle over under 10 wins. And now I've gotten to the point where I even said to him, how many games did he win last year? And when I was 13 years old, I could have recited every pitcher in the league's win total. It's how little I have regard for that statistic. And so RBIs, I guess, kind of the same. So what's the number again?
74.5. I'm with you. I totally agree with you, but for our better fans.
Obviously he's not going to be hitting behind the pitcher anymore, do we trust the back end of the order to get on base enough for him?
Yes.
Jake Fraley did it with 350 on base.
Jake Fraley's going to get on base a lot for him. So over 74 RBIs. Over 74. I don't know how many who was the team leader in RBIs last year?
Probably Castellanos, if I had to guess.
Did he drive in 100 runs?
I think it was like 102.
I know, like, baseball fans from like 1984 get mad when I
know.
say that. Like, I honestly have no clue how many RBI. I don't know how many RBIs the league leader in RBIs had last year. Or pitcher
Do you know
wins.
what RBI stands for?
Runs batted in. Yes. Yes.
I also think it's a dumb stat, but it was there, so I had to make sure I asked it.
No,
So.
I get it.
It was Castellanos at 100 and Joey Votto. That's why I had to point this out at 99. Mr. RBI.
You know, years ago, when the whole Joey Votto doesn't drive in enough runs thing was like a thing, and this was like 2013 when he was like in the top 10 in like 1,000 different categories, but he didn't drive in a lot of runs. I went to a game one afternoon, and with one out in the ninth inning of like a 3-run game with the bases loaded, it was Jay Bruce hit a sacrifice fly, and it scored the run. And it made it like a 4-2 game with 2 outs in the ninth inning. And he comes back to the dugout and his teammates are high-fiving him. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, that was the last thing we needed. I mean, a double play would have been the worst, but like, why are you high-fiving him? So I went on the air that night. I was doing the show in the evening, and I kind of joked about how, like, well, Jay Bruce had a big RBI. That's the sort of thing we want more from Joey Votto. And it was a really sort of dumb radio topic, but yeah, it was around that time that I really started to stop counting RBIs.
That's like whenever a guy rolls over and there's a guy on second base and then everybody high fives him because they move him to third. Like, he's not happy. I guarantee you he did not try to do that. 1,000%.
So, you know, my God rest his soul, when my dad passed away at, 2009, that to me was the end of sitting next to somebody who was like congratulating the guy for making the productive out. And we would have these conversations all the time. It was like, Todd Walker just grounded out to the second baseman, and now with 2 outs, there's a guy on third. Boy, what a productive at bat! Like, no, Dad, he wanted to pull it down the line and drive it.
That's my dad.
Oh man, it just and now what's going away with no pitcher batting anymore in the National League. This is my favorite thing about any baseball fan is a pitcher will lay down or would lay down a successful sacrifice bunt, and which fine, pitchers aren't good hitters. And so the runner would move to second base. And I always got such a kick out of how the folks in the stands would applaud that with a little bit too much enthusiasm, simply as a way of either congratulating themselves for being savvy baseball fans or making sure that the people around them knew that what the pitcher just did was actually a good thing. The self-congratulatory, over-enthusiastic applause after a sacrifice bunt going away is the only thing I'm going to miss about the pitcher occupying a spot in the batting order.
Oh, man. I got one last one for me. So, losing Winker and losing Suarez was a pretty big deal. But we also probably lost our best 2 bat flippers on homers. Mo. So who is going to step up and fill that void? Because Joey's more of a bat lay downer. He's not a flipper.
Yeah, correct. Tommy Pham strikes me as a guy that could have bat flip potential, right?
He's a good flipping skills.
I strikes me as somebody that could have good bat flipping skills or good bat flip potential. Have we ever really explored whether Mike Moustakas? He probably hurt himself if he tried to flip a bat, so maybe we don't want him to do that. I do
anything out of the ordinary, Mike.
Mike, just set the bat down. If you make solid contact, just put your head down and run. So what we don't know about is, the Punisher, and, granted, Aristides Aquino doesn't make solid contact enough, but when he does, they're kind of no doubters, right? Yeah. They're not scraping the wall. So when he does get a hold of one, first of all, who's going to say anything to him, right? Like, who's going to be the catcher awaiting his arrival at home plate that, gets in his face so he can do whatever the hell he wants? So Aristides Aquino should flip the bat a little bit more. Other than that, though, there really don't seem to be many guys that look like they will perfect that, which offends my sensibilities as a baseball fan.
I feel you.
Mo, one more question before we get you out of here from the chat. Do you have any Reds memories that make your top 10? I guess you were going through this the other day.
Reds memories that make my top 10 of days of my life?
That's what you mentioned on the show.
Oh, and the Bengals show? Or the, let's see. I do a lot of shows. So on my show?
Sure.
Okay. Well, so I think were you listening to Paul and Jay, their podcast on?
Yeah, hear that podcast growling.
Yeah. So okay, thanks. So for those who weren't listening, and God knows you could be excused for doing that, we were talking about tip-off times, game times, because who is that? Is everything
not
okay?
Mine for shocking.
All right,
there's not mine.
Is a dog about to join us? What's about to happen? We were talking about the late night tip-off time for the college basketball game the other night, and I was having fun with people on Twitter, or at least I was trying to, because on Twitter nobody really likes to have fun. And so then I went on with Paul and Jay on their Bengals podcast, and we were talking about how well, if you don't like the start of game times, you could always move to Hawaii. And I said, maybe the happiest day of my life was in 2015. I was there for the Hawaii Bowl. Which was UC versus San Diego State. The Bearcats and Senator Tuberville lost that game 42-7. But on the Sunday that we were there, because there's like a 5 or 6 hour time change, the 1 o'clock game started at either 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was glorious. And then the Bengals were playing the 4 o'clock game because they were in San Francisco, but in Hawaii it was like 10 or 11 o'clock. And then the game ended, and then I went to the beach all day. And I just said that might have been the greatest day of my life. And then those guys came at me and said, well, what about your wedding day? And I said, I kind of forgot about that. What about the day your child was born? And I said, oh, okay, well, that was actually a pretty good day. So Reds memories that would be in my top 10. Was that the question? Top 10 days of my life? I haven't yet jotted them down. Reds memories that would be involved in the top 10 days of my life. That's the question here, correct?
According to this from Reds and 4, yes.
I could give you a list of top 10 Reds memories, days in my life. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We've talked a lot about Todd Frazier this week. The home run derby was really, really cool. I don't know if I call it a top 10 day of my life. I had to do a lot of work that day. But that was really, really neat. That was pretty special. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would categorize. They've won. Well, so now I'm thinking about my life as an adult. I went to Game 2 in 1990 against the Pirates. That's pretty damn cool. Saw Paul O'Neill throw out Andy Van Slyke. That's pretty neat. So that was pretty good. The day the Reds won the World Series in 1990, I was 13 years old. I stayed home from an 8th grade dance to watch the game with my dad. And the Reds win the World Series. And I'm thinking, this is going to be incredible. And my dad looks at me. He's like, well, going to bed. So I don't know that I would say top 10 day, but top 10 memory of my dad just sort of throwing cold water over. Because I'm thinking wow, they just won. What are we going to do now? And going to bed. So no, I don't know that I have a top 10 day of my life that revolves around the Reds, but let's be honest. I really haven't ranked them. Maybe at some point this year. I don't know. My wife, my current wife, my ex-wife and I went to a lot of Reds games, but my current wife and I, one of the first games we went to together was Homer Bailey's second no-hitter. So that was pretty cool.
I was there. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The very first night, this is interesting to nobody, but you have me here, so let me ramble. The very first night I met my wife, I was at an establishment. The Reds had just obviously lost this painful series to the San Francisco Giants. You might remember this. And so the next night, the Nationals and Cardinals play Game 5. And the Nationals are winning 6-0 early. I think they scored 6 runs in the first inning. And there's this collective sigh of relief at the place that I'm at. and everybody's excited. Well, at least the Cardinals are going to lose. This is awesome. And then the Cardinals storm back and win 10-6, I think was the final score. I don't think it was like a dramatic walk-off, but the Nationals blow this lead. The Cardinals storm back. They win Game 5, and now they're going to play the San Francisco Giants, who are literally sitting on an airplane in Cincinnati waiting to find out where they're going to go. And I'm at this establishment. I've just met this woman who would eventually be my wife. And in the middle of my conversation with her, I look at the person working behind the bar and I said, "Sir, I will do anything to get you to turn that television off or change the channel." Because it just, at that point, after the Reds blew the lead, I couldn't watch the Cardinals celebrate. And this woman that I was talking to looked at me like I had 3 heads. And here we are almost 10 years later. We've been together for a decade. So is that a top 10 day? No, but when I talk about my wife and mention that marrying her was in the top 10 days of my life, well, I could at least tell that awful story.
That's a good one, actually. I like that.
I've put all 3 of you to sleep. I'm so sorry.
No,
so sorry.
Multitasking over here. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a long show, so I had to make a bourbon. So
I understand. I've been there before. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Mo, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit tonight. And I'm sure we'll check in throughout the season. Before we let you go, as always, take a moment to shout out your social medias. Anything you want to shout out, the floor is yours, man.
I was told yesterday that my Twitter feed is becoming insufferable. By a coworker of mine. Like, not somebody on social media, by a coworker of mine, as I'm pouring myself a water, who said to me, "Mo Egger is becoming insufferable." And I said, "Well, what about, am I insufferable?" And he said, "Well, you have been." So anyway, Mo Egger on Twitter. And I was also told today to join TikTok, and there's not an amount of money in the world that's going to make that happen. So Mo Egger on Twitter. And you can find the stuff there. You can find out why I'm so insufferable.
I think it's great, Mo. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, well,
I've known you 12 years now. I've never thought you were insufferable. So,
oh, just wait.
Well, always a pleasure.
What are you doing for the game?
I'm gonna make I'm gonna make Skyline chili dip and tomorrow's game, right? There's not one tonight. Okay, good.
Right.
I hate the fact that the season is opening on the road. I don't like that. But I wish I could sit outside and listen to the game on the radio because I love doing that. But just sit back and watch and listen to the national announcers probably butcher a lot of stuff about the Reds and
talk bad about Skyline. And...
It'd be well, hopefully they don't do that, but I hope to God they get off to a decent start because it just, we've had so many years where they get off to poor starts and it feels like the season's over by Easter, and so I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. Well, thank you again as always. Definitely appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
Okay, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me. Good. How much longer are you going for? Who's after me? Who's on? Who am I sort of setting the table for?
Emily Witt's next.
Oh man, my former intern.
Ooh. We got a story. We got a story to ask her about.
Not for you could ask. You talk about insufferable. Me. There she is. Me.
Hey guys.
She'll tell you how insufferable I am, both online and in person.
Mo, your Twitter's come a long way, so congratulations.
I don't know if that's good. I don't know that that's a compliment.
It's not a compliment, so I mean, take it at face value.
I'm gonna be honest. It's the nicest thing a woman has said to me in years. So
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, with that note, I'm gonna go check on my other half. Maybe she's tuned in. I have no idea. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take it easy.
See you, Mo.
All right, see you guys.
Well, that brings us to our next guest joining us here now. You can check out Miss Emily Witt. Welcome to the show. How are we doing?
Hi, guys. Doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
Good. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow. I mean, we got Mo, Bobby, Sarah, Trent. So happy to be here, but I promise I won't ramble as long. Not ramble. I won't talk as much as Mo.
Can we tell a good Mo story?
We do the show every week, so
yeah.
Oh,
if we can be on all the time, then anyone can be on.
Yeah.
True.
Sure.
Mo Egger's stories are definitely stories. That's for sure.
You got to have a good one to lead off with if you were his intern.
Yeah, Mo was my first boss ever. So that sets the tone for the rest of my career. So be it. Funny. So Mo would, I met Mo when I was a freshman in college, right? And I became his intern because I just walked up to him at a basketball game and asked to be his intern. And he said yes. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I guess sometimes it just works out like that. Thanks. It's my great advice. If you ever want to get a job in sports, just ask somebody. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah. Everybody who sees Mo in the future, just go ask him to be his intern.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you see Mo, go ask him.
He'd say no to me before I even got the question out. So.
No, immediately no. I've seen what I need to see. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But I knew next to nothing about UC and UC sports, and he made a reference to Kenyon Martin, and I ignorantly asked, "Who is that?" And he stood up, went around, shut the door to his office, and said, "This is the most important thing I will ever teach you," and taught me all about UC basketball. So
nice. Yeah, it's a good start then. So we'll talk a little Reds baseball here since we have you here. Obviously, big day tomorrow. Everything's starting up. What are you most excited about the start of the Reds season? Obviously, besides the fact that it feels like we finally have somewhat of a normal baseball season coming up.
Finally. Oh my gosh, freaking finally. I think I'm the most excited if I had to pick. I spent a lot of time being, frustrated, disappointed, confused throughout all of the offseason, right? You had this 99-day player lockout, and no one knew what was happening. And for a while, there was enough distraction to where I kind of was able to forget about the fact that baseball technically wasn't supposed to happen yet. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and the Bearcats also tried to play basketball, and Jackets tried to play hockey. And there were other things happening, but really, I remember early February, right around when they were supposed to start to report for pitchers and catchers, starting to get to that feeling of, existential Cincinnati sports fan dread of like, I've seen this before. I don't know what's supposed to happen. I want to have faith, but I also don't want to get my hopes up. So really just one, the fact that baseball actually gets to happen. What a blessing. And two, really, this is a team that despite everything that's been happening over the last couple of weeks, I like to describe it as a team with no expectations. We kind of get to watch a group of guys, regardless of their experience with the Reds and their experience in the game, kind of what Mo was saying of like, there's different interesting pieces of everything. We have Hunter Green, 22 years old, making his MLB debut after having Tommy John surgery. Absolutely insane. Joey Votto coming off of an amazing year. A couple other guys, barring any injuries, and when they do get healthy, really having the potential to make a long-term impact. So really, I'm excited to watch them not only compete in a division that I think is going to be not necessarily on a down year, but not necessarily as strong in the past, right? The Pirates are not necessarily the laughing stock of MLB, but we can bar them for.
No, they are. It's okay. They are.
Well, yeah. There's always the Orioles, and then the Oakland Athletics. It's been absolutely no money over.
Oh yeah.
Over spring training. So there's could be worse, right? Could be worse. But from there, the Brewers and the Cardinals are definitely top two, but the Cubs aren't as strong as they used to be. So you have, kids back in my day, the Cubs used to suck. So back in my day. And the top competitor was the Cardinals. So I think I'm excited really just to see how they make an impact. I've seen a couple different projections come out of Reds finishing third or Reds finishing fourth. And I think a lot of it's going to depend on, how healthy the Brewers and the Cardinals can stay. So we'll see.
I appreciate the optimism because I'm there. What's kind of where we've been at throughout the time frame is like, obviously losing the guys that did sucks, but what they've been able to put together has been a lot of fun. The guys who we've kind of seen battle injuries for a few years now, you've seen have positive springs. So I feel like we're all kind of in the same boat there.
Right. And I'm trying to be less like, all right, who's this guy? And more like, all right, who is this man?
Yeah, it's not
here for right. He's obviously here
it's
for a
not
reason.
Major League in the opening scene when they show all the workers like reading the newspaper. Like it's not like that, you know.
Right. It's not like, oh yeah, this guy that I've literally never heard of before, some random man that they found in the middle of America just, pulled him in and said, hey, do you want to play for the Reds today? It's not how this works. So.
Ooh.
You got
This
to
is a question for you.
Oh, okay. Joe Burrow.
So the more iconic duo, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, or Joey Votto and TikTok?
Joey Votto's TikTok is everything that I didn't know that I needed.
I
and
know.
Everything that Cincinnati fans deserve, 1,000%. It's both awkward and incredible. Like he's riding that fine line of social media cringe so well.
That's how everybody has always asked me, how are you friends with Joey? Like guys that we used to play with that were like, weren't friends with Joey just for whatever reason, not that they didn't like him, but they just, Joey only let a certain amount of people in, and they're like, what's up with Joey? How do you guys, he's great, but it's a little weird. You gotta, and it's just showing perfectly right now because that's him. That's the way he's always been. He just hasn't shown it publicly.
Yeah.
Carlos, did you buy in that Harry Potter robe for Christmas?
I did not. And we had a conversation about that.
I just picture him coming home from spring training and being like, all right, time to make myself dinner and then time to make a TikTok. Okay.
He had it laid out on the bed as he left for spring training the day.
Yeah, it was on his daily to-do list.
Could you imagine like in 2010, like showing people these videos?
I know.
like there's no way. That's not him. Like,
no. Gosh, no.
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember the intentional talk interview, the infamous Mountie uniform, when everyone was like, wait, what's happening?
This man has a personality? I'm so confused.
But that still even like almost felt like forced. Like he's like in a whole, like that was maybe like, I guess the start, but like this is a whole different level. I
tried to tell you last year in that article with C. Trent about the whole mopping thing. Like those, we just get a random video of music playing and his kitchen floor, and then there he comes just sweeping or mopping. Goes right across the screen, and then end of the video. I'm like, what just happened? What is
what
this?
did I just watch? Did we all just see the same thing? Am I seeing spots? I think Joey Votto needs to pull out his Monty costume for a TikTok. Really pay homage to the.
He can't because he found out it was like against the law.
Wait,
what?
Wait, really?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it can't impersonate or something. Like yeah, there's like serious stuff up there.
But Harry Potter's totally okay.
Yeah,
Harry Potter, all he wants.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So do you have a particular player story that you're interested in following, whether it's like, Joey being 38 years old or, Nick Lodolo coming up and playing his first full season and it's going to be in the big leagues? Like, what do you have a personal story that you're attaching to this year? Looking forward to following?
So I'm going to call myself out a little bit. At the beginning of last season, I turned to my group of friends and I said, Tyler Stevenson, don't like him. Not a fan. Not my guy. Not into him. By the end of the season, I was like, I think I should have kept that opinion to myself because things are obviously going better for him. So this is a season where I personally am going to give myself the opportunity to give Tyler Stevenson a full-on second chance to really blow us away in the process. I think he's gotten a lot more comfortable behind the plate, which was my predominant issue, I guess we can say, with him. But with the absence of Tucker and really him moving into that dominant starting position, I really feel like with everything that he's learned and developed, coupled with just how well he's hitting the bat, I think he's in a serious contender for a silver slugger. Oh my goodness, sorry. Unlike Mo, I do not speak for a living, so
that was my hot take earlier too.
I'm with you. I think he probably, if you're looking at any position player, has the best chance of winning a silver slugger just because of the position he plays. I could see it.
And this is the home for the Tyler Stevenson fan club. If you want to become an
official
member,
please join me, or please welcome me with open arms.
The Tyler Stevenson and Nick Senzel fan club. This is the place.
Nick Kirby is the president because he was there from day one. I came on. I was more like you, Emily. I was more at the end of the year. I was like, oh, okay. Nick might know what he's talking about every once in a while.
We're taking any optimism at this point.
Yeah.
So
We are.
Does that make me the flag bearer of the Nick Senzel club? Is that where I am?
I
Yeah,
think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Should I put that in my Twitter bio?
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Okay.
Yes, you need your stance on bat flips, and then the flag bearer for the Nick Senzel fan club.
Yeah, that's a weird like Twitter trend though. Have you noticed that where people like when they like talk about themselves, they like list their teams that they root for in their Twitter bio? I always thought that was a unique trend.
I have noticed it. I've personally, for me, I see it as like them not necessarily being a fan of the game overall, but more so like trying to find other fans on social that are also like interested in these teams or these areas. But it's very like not necessarily local, but very like niche group of people.
I respect it. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And I am the president of the Kyle Farmer fan club, just for anybody keeping records. And that's because Twitter made me. So,
I mean, if it's on the internet, it must be real. I would like to apply for admission to the Kyle Farmer fan club.
Okay. I will review that and we'll have your answer in the morning.
Thank you, sir.
So Emily, you're a social media person. That's what you do for a living, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell you intern with the Reds with social media, right? Tell us a little bit about that and what all fun that is or not fun or that kind of stuff.
My gosh, I would love to. So I was a Reds social media intern in 2015 during the All-Star game, which was terrifying and amazing. And because imagine you are, let's see, in 2015, I was definitely in college, maybe 20 years old, and your first day at work is the biggest day of the year. Reds opening day, 2015, pre-COVID, at home. All-Star game was happening, all the hype, and I'm so nervous because I'm 20 years old and I don't know what to do, but this is like my dream job. So my primary responsibilities were I was in the Reds Connect Zone area activation space, which is on the third base side. It's since has like changed its general like purpose and mission, but a lot of what we did was like managing like in-game activations, connecting with fans in real time. This is back when like Twitter like meetups were a thing. So people from Reds Twitter would get together, you get a free T-shirt, hang out, sit in the same section, meet people from the internet, which now doesn't seem as weird, but in 2015 was definitely still a little like, okay, I'm going to go to an event and talk to someone that I've been talking to on the internet. This is just very, very strange. But I mean, it was a ton of fun. I definitely learned a lot. I worked with Lisa Braun, fantastic boss. Loved working with her. And then I was able to, in 2016, get an internship with Major League Baseball based in Cincinnati. And with that job, definitely a little bit more engaging, was something called a real-time correspondent, which has since shifted into the live content coordinator LCC program, which is actually something that's been implemented across all of the major sports leagues. And I would love to talk about that for a Mo Egger, length of time. But that I was able to go around the ballpark and capture photo and video content that the Reds, MLB, and the visiting team would share on their social accounts. So that was like the best job.
That sounds like the best job. That's pretty awesome.
You guys are just so cool.
I bet.
So cool.
Well, we got to say thanks for taking some time and hanging out with us.
Yeah,
also being a trooper and hanging out early in the waiting room. That's impressive.
Oh, so. I mean, I was like, all right, 10:15, that's my time. But I was like, I think Mo's going to be a bit. It's fine. I told Nick, I was like, I'm used to it. It's very standard.
So before we get you out of here, take a second here for anyone who doesn't already. Shout out your social medias where people can follow you by all means.
Yeah, totally. So I made my Twitter when underscores were really popular. So I'm definitely dating myself, but it's M_Witt_17. And then my Instagram is just Emily Witt 17. So thanks, guys. Perfect.
We'll have you back on definitely throughout the season. We look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
17 for Kyle Farmer.
That's it. Still
You're in. I don't even have to look at the application.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Emily.
All right. Bye.
And we are on to our next
Hello.
guest. Also waited for a very long time in the room. So way to be a trooper. Thanks for hanging out, Emma. We appreciate it.
Yeah, fair warning. I'm in the dorm hall lounge. So if you hear someone run by screaming, that's what's up.
I never went to college, so I can't say I understand, but I'll just go ahead and do this.
Okay.
We have to make sure we mention, because we talked about Twitter bios. If you follow Emma on Twitter, she has the greatest thing ever I've ever seen of hers, where it says relationship status gaslit by MLB trade rumors.
It's true. I used to have it as gaslit by MLB front offices, but I thought that this was more generally applicable. That also happens more frequently.
I like it. So obviously tomorrow, after an insane offseason, we finally get real Reds baseball that matters. Where are you at? Where's your feelings on the team kind of going into tomorrow night?
I think it's relieving to not have any expectations anymore. I was talking to a bunch of Mets fans today, and I think they were in a similar place. It's nice to look and just be excited about the players and not have to worry about the standings and worry about what the other teams are doing as much. It's easier to be excited about the players.
Yeah, I agree. And we've kind of asked this throughout the night. Is there one certain player not named Joey Votto you're most excited about for this upcoming season?
I think there are a couple. I think I would really love to see what Nick Senzel can do. I remember when he came up, and I remember when he was a prospect, and I was so excited. I feel like I've been waiting for him to come up for a long time. So in my brain, he's still a rookie, which is not true, but works for his storyline. And then I would love to see Mike Moustakas perform. It hurts my heart when I see him go out there and not perform to what I think we know he can do and what he knows he can do. So I think watching him kind of get his feet back would be really nice.
Mike Moustakas over under 22.5 home runs this year. That's the line. That's a tough one.
I don't want to say under, but I feel like I have to.
I feel the same way.
If he plays,
I really don't want to.
If he plays 140 games, I think he easily goes over just because of his career. But I don't want to be pessimistic on him, but I just don't know if
I think he could hit the line. I think that's a very good line.
Yeah, that's a solid. That's right there.
Yeah.
So Emma, you are the Reds Twitter TikTok star. I don't think there's you have that whole market cornered. I think I don't think there's any other Reds people on there. We're hoping to get into the TikTok here. Breaking news.
One.
Tim made one. We're gonna try to break into it. First question for you is: any tips for us as we try to embark into that part of the universe?
I'll say I think the thing that Joey Votto's really got down is he's on the trends early. He's been getting to them quickly, and I think that's why they're so funny, because he's getting to them before they're overplayed. Yeah, I can't with the one that he posted last night and then he took it down by the time I woke up this morning.
Was that the Harry Potter one?
Yeah, I think he took that one down, and he took down the pool boy one already.
Maybe he just puts them up there just so they know they go all throughout the internet and just. I wonder
if he takes those down or if TikTok takes them, because TikTok takes down a lot of stuff, right? That isn't even bad. Let me see if I can get an answer to this.
I think he could private them. Because you can choose who gets to see it. I could see him changing it to be either just friends or just be himself when he second guesses it.
See, this is the hard-hitting analysis that we needed.
Yeah. He's one of the 3 people Late Reds follows on TikTok. So, we got that going for us. He doesn't follow us back.
You have to keep the number low.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at his Instagram, he follows, I think, several basketball players that don't follow him back. I think he follows Steph Curry, who does not follow him back.
Disrespectful.
And I think it makes him all the more relatable.
Steph Curry's who's Joey Votto? What's a Joey Votto?
Yeah. Well, Klay Thompson's brother played for the Dodgers, so maybe he knows. Maybe.
I feel like you have to have a general sense if you're an athlete at all.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Question here. Who's the first Red to appear in a TikTok with Mr. Votto?
I think Kyle Farmer. He's the only one that's been engaging with him on Instagram.
There you go.
Does Jim Day count as a Red?
No.
Jim Day should have a TikTok. That's a yeah. We need to start that.
I think his TikTok could rival.
Yeah. I feel like he could do like so many like stupid like things that would just be incredible content.
Well, did they ever do Gym Day with Gym Day? Because that would be great on TikTok.
I don't think this year they did.
Well, I mean, Gino's gone.
Yeah. We never got the Gym Day with Gym Day. That's forever going to be a travesty.
Oh,
I agree with
confirmed. He did take them down.
Ah.
The one TikTok.
Breaking news.
We broke it here on the show. If you were here hanging out with us.
Emma, who's someone you're really looking forward to this season on the Reds?
I have a really hard time with that. I think my list of top 5 favorite Reds are no longer Reds. And I had time to work on it. I just had not committed to it recently. I'd say Hunter Green would be an optimistic one, but I think I have a soft spot for catchers, and I know Tyler Stevenson will be up there, so I think I have to commit.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, I think we're all there on that one. So Nick's really big on Aristides Aquino still. Feels like he's
Am I?
going to be a Silver Slugger, MVP, break Barry Bonds record in a season for his career.
I just wanted to be a solid platoon.
We're all about the big red platoon, Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
Buy the t-shirt.
Man, don't put pressure on him. Come on. Jeez.
Man.
He can do it.
I think so. Yeah. So other than, also there, so is there going to be, do you plan to make a lot of trips to the ballpark this summer, obviously, like with a normal season, or what's your game plan there as well?
I think part of my struggle this month, I already have 4 Phillies games lined up because I'm in Philadelphia. So I think in the next 2 weeks, I've got 4. My problem is I'll be in New York for the summer. So I'm trying to hit them when they play the Yankees. And then hopefully I can get a game or 2 at Great American, but I have to plan it out.
So you're going to see old friend Nick Castellanos quite a bit in the next few weeks?
Yes, I have to decide which games to wear his jersey for and which games to make a sign for. I also have to decide what goes on the sign.
Yeah. Well, if you see Ryan Castellanos here, can you tell him we said hi?
Yes. I'm looking out for him.
Tell him he can come back on the show if he wants.
Yeah, that's our boy.
Only if his fog machine works.
Had some misfires.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to do some more over-unders?
Should we?
Yeah.
I can try.
Let's do some more over-unders. We'll get the whole crew in here. We already did it, but Joey Votto, 29.5 home runs.
Over.
Over.
I feel like you'd be like an evil person if you were not taking the over on that, right? I mean,
that would just mean he's going to be hurt if he doesn't hit more than that.
Yeah. All right. Jonathan India, over under 12 stolen bases. That's his official Zips projection.
I think going
I
over.
think the stolen bases are interesting. I don't know.
I'm not into the stolen base thing, guys. It makes me very nervous. India gets hurt every other play anyway, and I don't want him sliding into second base with his freaking head first. Slide a second, feet first if you need to, whatever. Anyway, I'll go with the over.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
I'll hit over.
Yeah. Let's do another fun one. Maybe not fun for him, but over under 23 hit by pitches. That's his projection. What? He's projected to get hit 23 times?
Derek Dietrich is gone. They know this, right?
I think it's baffling. I think in spring training they led in hit by pitchers or something like that too.
He's got 23 projected hit by pitches. The next is Kyle Farmer with 13. Like, what? I've got to take the under on that. That's just so many. That's
a lot.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to lose either one of those to an injury by HBP, especially the shortstop position right now.
Oof. Yeah, I don't like that.
Nick Senzel playing shortstop.
I say move him back to third. I've been saying it for a while. I don't think they'll ever do it, but he was drafted as a third baseman, and I don't know that center was ever the great fit for him.
I like this take. Big fan. You can
That's my
be
hot take.
you can be the other flag bearer of the Nick Senzel fan club with me now, Emma.
I appreciate it.
All right, over under Nick Senzel, 3 triples.
I'm going over. I'm all in this year. All in.
Over.
Gotta
I'm
go
going
over.
He's got easy speed.
It'd be a better question if it was a over under in Cincinnati, because that's a hard ball.
I was going to say, he's a line drive hitter, and they played in Fenway twice this year, so he's probably going to get one there.
I feel like he'll have 3 in a 3-game series in Colorado.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hopefully I'm there to see it.
There we go. All right,
Fenway or
over.
Colorado.
Like this.
Touche.
Sorry, I'm like going back and forth between browsers, so I can't see when you guys are talking, so I'm trying to. All right, over under. We did this one earlier, but let's just get Emma's take on it. Over under Tommy Pham 18 home runs.
I'll say under with the caveat that I think his aspirations are very high, and I would like to see him hit that. I don't know what it was, that quote that he no longer cares about the team, and at this point in his career he has to focus on himself, which I think makes me think that his aspirations are much, much higher.
Okay.
Like it.
I like it.
Which is true for every player, but for him specifically.
All right, let's do some pitching. Luis Castillo, 3.54 ERA. I feel like that's like right on the nose.
Yeah. As someone who owns him in a Dynasty Baseball League, I'm really hoping that's the case, but I'm going to give the slight over.
I'm going to say under just because he's missing the 2 first starts of the year.
That's a good point.
I'll take that.
I feel like this one's easy. Tyler Mahle, 4.08 ERA. I'm taking under.
Under all day.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Carlos. Don't do it. Don't do it. Come on.
I'm going to take the over.
Oh
no.
That's
it's going to be at 409.
If you go back to Luis too, I almost want to say it'll be better because he always pitched better with Tyler anyway.
That is a good point.
Like consistently.
We talked about that last year.
We did.
Yeah.
Was I here?
You sure were.
In spirit. Mike Minor, under 4.79 ERA.
Pats Blue Monday, where you at? That's your guy, Mike Minor.
I mean, I feel like if it's over that, it's a really, really rough season.
God,
I'm taking the under just out of necessity.
Yeah,
out of hope.
For the sake of Twitter, please be under.
Emma, what do you think?
Oh, I think he has to. I don't know that it'll be that far under. I think it could be a point or two.
Who makes more starts this year, Wade Miley or Mike Minor?
Ooh.
Both guys are on the IL right now.
What was Wade down with? He had something.
It was something I think that was a little more serious than Minor. I think he's projected to be out a little bit longer. I don't know exactly what it was.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Breaking news to me.
Welcome to baseball.
I'm in Little League baseball right now.
Yeah. Carlos doesn't play fantasy baseball. He doesn't know these things.
I do not. I did just fill out my Masters DraftKings.
Yeah? Who'd you put your money on?
Did you do the Believe one?
No, I didn't do it yet. Am I too late?
No. It doesn't start till 7 in the morning.
Okay. Maybe I'll do it after the game. After the
Get it
show.
in you.
Yeah. All right. So, Emma, before we get you out of here, we actually did get a question from the chat. Nick, if it's okay if I bring this up. Your favorite baseball memory?
First of all, that's my uncle. Hello.
Shout out Jim.
Shout out Jim.
Yes.
Jim Zimmerman.
Thank you. I'd say when I was younger, my dad would always pull me from school with a fake sick note to go to opening day, since we're from Columbus, so I never got the day off. And he would always play, I think the soundtrack from Ken Burns' Baseball has a lot of great songs on it. and we would just blast them in the car driving to Cincinnati every year. And I think there was one song, I think it was I Love Mickey by Teresa Brewer. It's incredible, really old, but incredible. And it has Mickey Mantle on the track. And I think that song specifically.
I like, that song. That's in that's in the movie 61 that Billy Crystal did about Mantle and Maris, which is a really good baseball movie for those who haven't seen it.
We did get one more question for Emma, and I apologize if this is too soon, but it was a question, not mine. Emma, your thoughts on Shogo? What should his next step be?
I think he's doing what's right. I think Japan still loves him. I think it was never the right fit for him, and I think that it was just never going to fit. I think if he goes back to Japan and gets a contract with any team, I think he can have like a great, fine, much more comfortable end of his career. I'm really happy he didn't take the minor league deal.
Yeah, I don't think he ever would have got back up, sadly.
Yeah.
I hope Seattle picks him up.
For the former Reds?
You get to see an outfield of Winker, Shogo, and Billy Hamilton.
Love it. Love it.
Two guys can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Winker could just stand on the line and let the other two.
Let them take care of it. Yeah. Exactly. Well, Emma, this was really awesome. Thank you for taking some time to hang out with us and do some over-unders and give your thoughts on TikTok advice, which we will 1,000% need. But
thanks for having me.
Can we give you a quick second here to shout out your social media where people can find you?
Yeah, at mseggy on everything. I discourage the TikTok follow. Promote the Twitter follow.
Good to know. Well, we definitely appreciate it. We'll actually check up with you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Emma.
All right, we are 2 hours into this. Nick put this together. It's killing it. And we are to our next guest, who joined us last year on opening day eve when we were on an old app called Locker Room, if anyone remembers Locker Room. It didn't last too long. So joining us from Locked On Reds, Mr. Jeff Carr. How are you, buddy?
Those were good times, Tim. It's good to be with you guys. And hey, we're going to be talking about actual regular season, real baseball in less than 24 hours. It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. Yeah. So how are things on the old Locked On Reds going over there?
Not too bad. Had a busy week. Got to talk with John Sadak today. Steve did. And we talked with Tom Nichols on Monday. Did a roundtable with all the NL Central hosts on Tuesday. And we got a crossover with the Braves hosts tomorrow to preview everything going on for that series. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm definitely a bad Reds fan tomorrow. In my Dynasty Fantasy League, I got Max Fried starting. So
yeah,
it's definitely bad of me, you know.
Yeah. Bet early on the lineup, not figuring things out yet. Well, it's cold. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So
looking forward to that Braves preview though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we dig a little bit deep into what his thoughts are about Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson kind of filling his shoes and who's going to step up in the leader role. Is it going to be Ozzie Albies? Is it going to be Ronald Acuna? When are we going to see Acuna? Because it's not going to be in this series. It's just a little bit of a bummer for me. I love watching Acuna play, but on the other side of the of that coin, that means that we won't be giving up a ton of dingers.
Imagine Acuna versus Stevenson. Oof.
Gosh, the middle of that
power
lineup,
on power.
The middle of that lineup, Acuna, Albie, or probably Albies, Acuna, and then Olson, because Olson he's more of a launch angle power type guy than Freeman was, but definitely not as good a hitter as Freeman was, but still.
Don't forget about the legend of Adam Duvall as well.
Yes,
he's still with the Braves.
He is
legend that will never die.
Yeah,
Nick's boy.
He's projected at like 33 homers this year. Yeah.
All against right-handed or left-handed pitching. Yeah.
My father is like the ultimate Adam Duvall. Like we would thought when the Reds traded Adam Duvall, they traded Frank Robinson. That's how upset he was. Like it was wild. Well, man, obviously, you talk about this on a day-to-day basis on the Locked On Reds podcast, but kind of, to get your thoughts here and kind of see how things are going. Where are you at? Where are your feelings with this ball club after everything that's transpired between the lockouts, some trades, some nice free agency signings after said trades, but a lot of things going on.
I think the Reds are going to be one of the most interesting teams in baseball because they have one of the widest range of outcomes. I think that you could see everything going wrong with this team and then winning like 70 games. Or you could see every possible thing going right with this team and then winning like 85, 86 games and sneaking in as a wild card. Now, I stress everything has to go right with that. And when everything goes right, that means Hunter Green is really good. Nick Lodolo is really good. Nick Senzel is playing probably 150 games at that point. There's a lot of things that have to happen that are just total question marks. Plus, you're talking about a bullpen that, as happy as I am that they're kind of betting on their own development system, there's still a lot of question marks there. I mean, what is Alexis Diaz and Daniel Duarte going to bring to the table? I know that Duarte was added to the 40-man roster, but I'm still not really sure as to what he's going to give us in the major leagues. So when all of that is put together, I see probably a 77-win team. I don't think that that's terrible, but that's certainly a very big step back from where we thought they were going to be, given that we were told for 5-6 years to wait, we're going to be good. And then that lasted a whole year and a half, if you count 2020 as a half a year. So I am going to be disappointed to not see them in the playoffs, but I also think that they've got to do a lot of stuff right. And I just don't see everything working out for them in that way.
We have to do something real quick because I forgot when Jeff came on. I was supposed to play a video from Jeff's co-host, Mr. Stephen Offenbaker, who was unable to join us this evening because he had to work, but we wanted our guy to be a part of the show. So here's Steve.
Aloha, Late Night Reds Talk crowd. I am Stephen Offenbaker from the Locked On Reds podcast. Just wanted to drop a quick message and tell all of you guys happy opening day. Sorry I couldn't be there to participate in this great live show, but like the rest of you, I am so excited for opening day. I am so excited to get a look at some of these young Reds players like Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. There's lots of question marks, but lots of reasons to be excited. And like my co-host over at Locked On Reds, Jeff Carr, as well as Nick Kirby, I think this team is going to be better than most people think it is going to be. Opening day in Cincinnati is always a special time, and I know starting on the road this time in Atlanta kind of takes a little bit of the excitement out of that. But last time the Reds opened on the road, we won the World Series. So I'm hoping history repeats itself. Exciting time to be a baseball fan. Everybody's in first place today. So let's enjoy the Reds opening the season. Hope Tyler Mahle goes out and throws a lot of shutout innings, and hope this Reds lineup is actually a lot better than everybody's giving them credit for. Look forward to watching the game. Look forward to following the season and talking to you all about it all along the way. Go Reds.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong. 77, it feels safe-ish, but I've seen a lot of people saying like 72, 73, and I think that they're going to be a little bit better than that, but there's going to be enough of those games that we look back on and say, ooh, they could have made this decision, or they probably could have done this and they'd have been fine, and there'll be like 3 or 4 games that's just going to knock them out of it probably by, I don't know, August.
A lot of those like 72, 73s though are like national media who just saw the moves the Reds made as far as the trades, and we're like, oh, they're doomed, they're done. Who was it yesterday? Alana Rizzo, who's like, I can't name 2 players on the Reds. I'm like, first off, that's terrible content. Second,
right.
They all sound like the Hall of Fame voters. They really don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
a story or 2 throughout the year, but
yeah,
absolutely.
They're probably like, is Homer Bailey? They act like Homer Bailey's still pitches for the Reds or something. It's like, no, we're long past that.
Their opening day starters, Brett Tomko, right? Brett Tomko.
Yeah. Brett Tomko did a run with the Bats 5 or 6 years ago.
Weird dude.
Yeah.
Weird dude.
Got to meet him at Reds Fest. He was one of those guys that just caught as he was walking, and I'm like, hey, quick selfie. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, yeah, Brett Tomko. Played with you in Ken Griffey Jr. baseball '98, like all the time.
That was like when they had different names though, right? Because of the PA agreement. Like,
yeah,
it was like John Jameson. Like,
they don't make sports games like they used to. Because I always remember that, and I remember NFL Football '94 on the Sega Genesis, where the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings was Q-back. It's like we really worked hard on the name here. This was good.
I like that. That might be my next like creative player name. No matter what game it is.
There you go. So we asked Mo this earlier, and we've talked about this with quite a few different guests. So kind of get your thoughts here, Jeff. And I think I know what you're going to answer, but I have to get it on wax anyway. According to our sponsors at Bet Online, I got the right one this time. I didn't list some other bet gambling website. Joey Votto's over-under this season is 29.5 home runs. How are you feeling about that?
Hammer the over.
Hammer it.
Hammer it. I haven't put money on it yet because I want to see if it goes plus on the VIG for over, but right now the VIG's still minus. So, but I'm still probably going to hit it before they take the bet off. I think he hits at least 35 again. I got a good feeling about him. He looks in the zone to me. Yeah. Hammer the over.
I like it.
Plus, I loved Saris's column where he's like, yeah, he's going to hit 40. I'm like, all right, let's go.
But
and Joey's like, that's kind of light, but okay.
Yeah. He's like, is that really that bold? It's
like, do that by the All-Star break.
The goal is 50. I'll tell you that. The goal is 50.
Yeah, it wasn't Eno on The Athletic, right, that had that chart where like Cody Bellinger is rated as a higher hitter than Joey Votto. It was someone else, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It definitely wasn't Eno. Eno loves him some Joey.
Yeah, we had him on the show a few weeks ago. He was awesome.
He's awesome. I love, but with Joey, I mean, jumping on Twitter, I feel like he's gotten like a new lease on life. Jumping on social media or something, it's like he's completely transformed. He's going to hit at least 35. I'd love 50, Carlos. That would be amazing. And I hope he plays like for the next 1,000 years. Like I want to die with Joey Votto still being the first baseman of the Cincinnati Reds. That would be amazing. Not this year. That would be weird. I don't want to die this year.
Yeah.
We'll edit that out.
So since we're going to be doing this a lot this year, he's coming to this year 58 home runs behind Johnny Bench for the franchise record. So
think he gets it. And that's really gonna chap the ass of some old Big Red Machiners like fans. Like, I mean, they're not gonna know what to do with that. They really aren't. And I'm gonna love it. I'm here for every second of that.
Same. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, those guys were awesome, but I mean, there's just so many people that don't give him his due because they're like, well, he didn't win 3 World Series and had 1,000 home runs.
Baseball has happened since the machine. Like,
yeah. Like back in my days, stop it. No.
Something else to kind of consider. I mean, the Reds' single season record is 52 home runs by George Foster, and no one else has hit 50. That's
right.
it. So, I mean,
Griffey hit 40 his first year.
Joey chasing the home run record and a playoff push. Are you kidding me?
At 38,
be amazing. I love the change in his batting stance, though. I mean, you still see it. I mean, he changed it last year, and he's just kind of tweaked it every so often when it comes to over the course of last year. And then this spring, too, a whole lot of loading up on the backside of the box and exploding forward. I wonder how much of that he's going to do throughout the season, especially when he's going up against like Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, but I'd still love to see it. And I think that he's just going to mash some baseballs. And if he can stay healthy and not miss a month, I mean, who knows? If he didn't miss the month of June last year, I mean, he might've hit 40.
Doesn't get COVID in spring training on top of that.
That's
gets,
a big
you
one,
know,
too.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts on just as my pal John Rothstein says, the epitome of brutality and the fact that the Cincinnati Reds start their season with 11 of their first 13 games on the road.
Right.
How brutal.
And not just on the road, like on the road against really good teams.
Yeah.
Like we're not, this isn't last September when we were all talking, and me included, talking about, oh, they have an easy schedule. They'll walk into the playoffs. No, it's tough. And you're
that was us.
No, I hand up. That was definitely me. I was all about that. And then I said, never again. I'll never quote the schedule and say how good it is. Now I'll say how bad it is till I'm blue in the face. And when they, come out over 500, we're going to be like, yeah, this team is awesome.
Quote the schedule nevermore. Yeah.
Oh, if they come through this April 500, we are going to be like, yeah, this team is awesome.
Because don't they? No, they don't play Atlanta twice. There's a team that they get. San Diego. Yeah, they get rid of San Diego the entire year in the month of April. Like, I don't get that. I really would have loved the reason to travel to San Diego, but I don't have the money to do it right now. But looking at that schedule, you're talking about Hunter Green's first 2 starts are going to be in Atlanta and in LA. I love the dude, but if people are mad when he doesn't shut out the World Series champion and probably the to-be World Series champion this year, I've got nothing for those people, because that is the hardest of stretches to start a career. That's definitely the opposite of Revar San Martin last year.
Hunter Green might throw 107 in that first pitch in LA.
Yeah,
that's his scene.
Yeah,
LA, are you kidding me?
That's going to be tough, though. That lineup, good Lord. Every single guy in that lineup is a guy. He is a dude.
Every pitch is a high leverage pitch.
Right.
That is exhausting on a pitcher, because you usually only have to do with that. Like if you're a starter, you only have to do that for 2 or 3 hitters, maybe.
Right.
That's exhausting.
And I like to joke that David Bell was the happiest dude alive whenever the DH came, so he could do more with his lineups. But I think that the Dodgers were the happiest, because now they don't even have an easy out for the pitcher spot. It's just 9 guys just constantly going. It's insane.
Yeah, hopefully Cody Bellinger sucks at least.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
They just need to hurry up, and we should have traded him for Shogo. Straight up.
Yeah.
You take our failed project, we'll take yours.
Exactly. Let's make that happen. Or no, we can't. But yeah.
Yeah, now. Yeah, that's
Colin Moran. Let's do Colin Moran for Cody Bellinger. Let's go.
Well, Jeff, we got 2 other dudes wanting to jump in here. You are welcome to stay. This last hour is kind of the late night Reds talk free for all. So feel free to stay as long as you want. Love to have you on. If you need to get out of here, we understand that. But let's bring these other 2 fellas in. Let's go 6 wide.
Full house.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, my gosh, Doug.
I told you, Carlos. I told you.
Brought his A game.
Yeah. So, Joey, go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Jeff, my hair grew since you saw me, I don't know, 9-10 hours ago.
Long time no see from 9 hours ago, yeah.
So joining us, our good friend of the program, Clay Snowden, and you can check him out at redsminorleague.com, Doug Gray. So guys, thank you for taking some time to hang out with us tonight. Like I said, as Nick said, on our free-for-all hour and our pregame show. And Doug, I know obviously you're a guy everyone wants to have on, because with your knowledge of the Reds minor league system, obviously this is the year Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green look like they're making their major league debuts for the ball club. What can you tell people to expect, and as far as what they might be seeing from these 2 guys that they don't already know, I guess I should say?
That they don't already know. I'm not sure. I'm in my own little world, my own little bubble. I feel like people should know these things, but maybe they don't. I think that the thing that I really, even I'm looking forward to it this year is Hunter Green's changeup. The thing that I've said in the past is that he doesn't use it enough. It's always been there, but he's been really hesitant to use it, particularly against right-handed hitters. And I think that's one of the things that he said he focused on in the offseason. If you got a chance to see him pitch in spring training, which, there wasn't too many innings out there for anybody. And then I know one of his starts wasn't even available to watch, but, the reports were that he did use it a lot more. And I think that is going to be a pitch that, he's going to have to show to big leaguers. I don't care how good your fastball and slider are. You're not going to go through the lineup 2 or 3 times with just those pitches. Not today. The hitters are too good today to get by with that as a starting pitcher. And so I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing with Hunter Green this year more than anything else. I think that the big issue, and I don't even want to say it's a big issue, but he's 22 years old. So everybody's like, oh, well, he's young, but he's a young 22 when you think about just the complete lack of experience that he's had. he shut down during his senior year of high school to protect himself from getting injured. He didn't want to, why risk $7, $8, $9 million pitching in high school if you don't really need to? So he barely threw his senior year of high school. After he got drafted, because he didn't pitch, the Reds were very cautious with him. He threw like 4 innings in Billings that year. The next year, he threw 70 innings in Dayton before he got hurt. Didn't pitch at all in 2019. In 2020, he pitched at the alternate site, but they tried to simulate, game situations and scenarios and innings, but it's not the same. He's not trying to bust in his teammates on their hands. That's not something he's going to do out there because you risk injuring your teammates. And so, he did get innings in, but they weren't game innings. It's a different kind of thing, a different situation. And then, last year he pitched all the way through the year. So realistically, he's had 1 full season since he was drafted in 2017. How that's going to play out, who knows? Because last year, even when he was pitching, the minor league season didn't start until May. So, and he pitched did he pitch in September? He might have had 1 start in September.
Yeah, not
maybe
many.
It was, yeah. Right. And so they shut him down. I mean, I think he can probably get about 150 innings this year, assuming that he stays healthy. That's probably where they cap it at, because he threw just over 100 last year between AA and AAA. But again, he did pitch in April. We just didn't count those innings because the season didn't start. But he was throwing. They didn't just keep him from, pitching in April and then ramp him back up in May. But there's a lot of interesting things to, just watch and see what happens with Hunter Green. And I know you talked about it earlier too, like what happens when Luis Castillo and Mike Minor come back. Who's out of the rotation then? Is it possibly a who's going to pitch best situation between, pretty much everybody except for Tyler Mahle that's in the current rotation? We just don't know. Now, similar with, Nick Lodolo, where exactly do you want to cap his innings? I think it was Mo that mentioned it. He didn't, or maybe, I think it was Bobby. I'm sorry. He has not been a full season minor league pitcher since he was drafted 2 years ago. Not all his fault. Everybody kind of lost out on 2020 that was in the minor leagues. But, last year he struggled with the blisters. And then at the end of the season, he had a little shoulder thing. He's healthy and he's good to go now. But, where do the Reds want to kind of cap those innings with him? I think he's kind of in a similar boat that Hunter Green's in. He threw 115 innings his junior year in college. Like, do you want to just throw that, 20, 30, 40 extra innings onto that and say you're good? I don't really know how they're going to approach that. And, at least at this point in the season, they're not going to come out and publicly say it either. They're probably going to play it a little bit by ear. And, if, say, June or July, a guy starts saying, hey, I'm feeling a little bit worn down, they'll cut back on the innings a little bit. Maybe not shut somebody down, but instead of, hey, you're 105 pitches, hey, you're 90 to 95 pitches over the next couple of weeks and see how a guy rebounds there. And I think that, with both of those guys, that's kind of what you're going to see because, they're young and inexperienced. And, like Carlos said, you're putting them in a different situation in the big leagues than you are in the minor leagues. Like every pitch is a stressful pitch. There's not necessarily easy outs like you're going to see in the minor leagues, where guys are defensive specialists that, put up a 600 OPS, but hey, he's an elite defensive shortstop, so he's going to get the job. Those guys don't exist in Major League Baseball anymore, especially without the pitcher now. Everybody's got a DH. Like there is not I can take a break on this guy and I can just throw 93-mile-per-hour fastballs over the heart of the plate, and he's going to ground out to second base. Guy doesn't exist in baseball anymore.
Yeah, that's really good insight. And I want to ask this because I know Trent talked about a guy earlier, and there's a lot of names going on. Kind of the fast riser in your eyes who you can see kind of moving up the system. I know Matt McLean's obviously had a lot of recognition from spring training, obviously last year's first round pick. But is that the name, or is there maybe another name besides Elly De La Cruz people should keep an eye on? Well,
it's funny. I was talking with some people that were out in Arizona last week, and the 2 names that they brought up that really stood out above everybody else in minor league camp was Matt McLean and Elly De La Cruz. The way that people talk about Elly De La Cruz, it really is just different. Like, I've been covering the farm system for, let me do some math. I think this will be the 17th year. And I'm old, Carlos. I'm old, man. the only other person that I've heard people get excited about when they say things about the player like this is Hunter Green. Jay Bruce was the #1 prospect in all of baseball when I was covering the Reds farm system. People didn't talk about Jay Bruce like they talk about Elly De La Cruz. Now, things were a little bit different, but it's not even necessarily the things that they say. It's how they say the things that they say. It's just different. Like if you talk to enough people, you pick up on things that maybe what they're not saying should tell you something about what they're trying to say without them saying it. You don't get that with Elly De La Cruz. People are just absolutely raving about this kid. I don't even want to pick somebody else. He's the guy. He's the guy.
I wonder how far the Reds would actually push him. If he just kept tearing it up everywhere he was at.
So here's my thought process on this. I hear a lot of this in my job a lot that, the Reds, they take their time pushing prospects. They're slow to. No, they're not. Unfortunately, they just haven't had those dudes that just tear the cover off the ball that are also really good prospects. Like they just haven't had that guy. We can go back to Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce is probably the last position player they had that did that, and they pushed him really, really fast. I mean, he made his major league debut at 21 years old. He played at 3 levels one year when he OPS'd like 1,000 at 3 different levels. When they have that guy, they push that guy. They just haven't had those kind of players. Who's the best guys that have come out of their farm system in the last decade? Nick Senzel. He was one of the top prospects in baseball. He got pushed pretty fast until the very, very end there, but I think there were some weird circumstances that happened there with, the injuries and everything. But I think that Nick Senzel's probably the only guy that I can realistically say, they probably should have pushed him harder. I don't think that there's anybody else that they haven't pushed. And I think that if Elly De La Cruz goes out and he just crushes the ball and he shows that he's improved his plate discipline, that they'll push him quick. I really believe that.
Hey, we got some really good questions here in the chat. Let's kind of go around the horn and get some of these. Better off Reds. If Senzel plays 140 plus games, what do you think his numbers look like? Clay, let's start with you. What do you think?
Yeah. Hey, thanks everyone for having me on. Hey, Jeff, I haven't seen you in a while, but good to see you. One thing I did want to say about this whole thing is I think it's so cool that all these people that create content for the Reds are not in a competition for views or anything. You all are joining each other's forces here, and that's honestly so cool because that's not the case with a lot of spaces. So kudos to all of you all for helping each other out.
That Yankees media people.
Yeah, exactly. On to Nick Senzel, but Better Off Reds, another good Reds podcast as well. With Nick Senzel, it's just hard for me to say because we haven't seen it consistently at the MLB level. We've seen it in the minors. We know that he has the talent. He's looked very uncomfortable in center field to me this spring. He's made some kind of just what I would categorize as bizarre plays. I don't know just how comfortable he is. I just hope that he can stay healthy. I think he has the ability to be a 120 WRC plus type hitter. I just haven't seen that yet at the major league level. It's just a small sample size. What I've always said is I just think the expectations for Senzel should change by the fans. Everyone's still expecting him to become, the best player on the Reds or the best hitter on the Reds because of where he was drafted. And he does not have to become that in order for him to be successful. And as we see in the fan base on Twitter, there's so much, I don't know if hate's the right word, but I'll use hate towards Nick Senzel. It's more just frustration than anything.
Vitriol.
Yeah, exactly. Because he hasn't become this incredible hitter and player that maybe we all think he should have been by now. It's just frustrating is what it is. But I just want him to take a step this year. I just want him to, he doesn't have to break out onto the scene. I just want him to become consistent and healthy. If he can even just be something like a 105 WRC plus who plays and looks more comfortable in center field, because at this point, I'm not comfortable with him being the center fielder of the future. So There's a lot of things that I want to see from him this year. I don't need a breakout year. I just want health, consistency, and comfortability as well.
Jeff, what do you think?
Honestly, I think if he stays healthy, I'd say 2020. He gets a 20 homer, 20 steal season, maybe hits, I don't know, 265-ish, something like that. I liked what he put together in his only season that we've seen him play over 100 games. He definitely had a high percentage of runs scored as the times on base. So I'd love to see more of that from him. I don't think that you're going to expect to see him at the top of the lineup unless he just does have that breakout early on. So the pressure is off of him. I think as long as he's healthy, he's going to be able to just play baseball and not have the people like breathing down his neck. Like, so you're going to lead this franchise to a World Series? You're going to do it? You're going to be that guy? Huh? Like, I think he's just going to go out and hit the ball. And I do. I think a 2020 season is doable if he gets 140 games. I kind of think he's probably going to play like 115, 120. But, I mean, 140, honestly, that would be an amazing success for me looking at Nick Senzel in 2022.
Yeah, I'm with you on the 2020. I think his slug might be a little higher than people think, just because I think he's going to get a lot of doubles and triples. Maybe not a ton of home runs, but I think the slug will be better. What about you, Doug?
I mean, I feel like Jeff kind of stole my thunder a little bit when you guys first asked the question. I was like, I think, 270, 2020, maybe 350 on base percentage, 450 slugging. So yeah, good job, Jeff. He knows what he's talking about most of the time. It's fine. But I think just the biggest question is can he play 140 games? Unfortunately, the guy he has not been able to catch a break from the health standpoint in years. But I mean, if he's going to play 140, I think that he's going to hit well. He's a good hitter. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. Incredible that he has been so underrated in the speed aspect for years. They're going to let him run. And, like Nick just said, doubles and triples. And I think that the speed's going to help a lot. He's going to be able to stretch some singles into doubles just because of how fast and aggressive he is out of the box. And so, yeah, I just, can he play 140 games? That's the biggest question.
He seemed to be running really well this spring. I mean,
And I have a question for you all as well, if that's okay, if I can ask a question.
Damn it,
Is Nick in charge? Is Carlos in charge? Tim? Whoever's in charge, I'm asking a question. So there was a quote, and it was about Jake Fraley and him running more. I don't remember the exact quote, but it kind of insinuated that they planned on running a little bit more. This team had 36 stolen bases last year at the bottom of the league. Now, with Winker and the other offensive weapons gone, they're going to have to find different ways to generate runs. Do you think David Bell will start running more? I mean, India, Senzel, Fraley is not a burner, but he's been a pretty effective stolen base guy. I just wanted to hear what you all had to say if this team could potentially start running a little bit more and climb up from the bottom of the league.
Carlos, will Joey become Double-A Joey and be fourth in the league in stolen bases again?
That ship done sailed. That ain't happened. No, but I do think that they will run more. And I think David Bell will be smart about it. He's just not going to go out there and start, running wild and giving everybody the green light. But it's hard to go any lower. So
wait, are you saying Tyler Stevenson's not going to get to steal 20 bases?
I don't think so.
I hear he's kind
of
not
until at least they get the bigger bases. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I hear he's actually pretty decently fast for a catcher, though, compared to other catchers, from what I understand.
for a
Just
catcher,
ask Nick, he'll tell you.
Don't compare him to Tucker. I think Tucker was kind of one of the slowest catchers. So,
well, I remember Mez was pretty fast as a catcher.
Yeah,
for that 1 year,
he ran for Ryan Hannigan.
Yeah,
I mentioned it earlier. Jake Fraley. I was looking. Someone was asking a question. I didn't notice this before. Did you guys know he stole 33 bases in 2016 in rookie ball? I think it was.
Yeah, and his sprint speed's like 64 percentile. He's not like some super burner. He's just a good base runner, and he's always been like that. Even when I think he started with the Rays system. Is that right, Nick? Do you have that in front of you? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always been able to steal some, and he gets on base. And I know I understand why stolen bases do not happen. I understand the negative of running, but can we just for a second remove ourselves from that and just think it'll be fun to see more stolen bases just as any casual viewer enjoys the stolen base every once in a while. So I'm for it, just in terms of the aesthetics of watching the game.
Zachary Erthold in our chat says athletes equals good. No, that perfectly sums it up for me. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go full Billy Hamilton again, where it's just like run on every chance you get, but
there weren't that many chances.
Nobody's Billy. Nobody.
I mean, if we can get Billy Hamilton's success rate out of it, then that's fine.
Sure.
But, yeah. But no, I mean, to get to Clay's overall question, I think that they're going to run more, but it's it's going to be because they've got some new faster guys than what they had. They're not going to ask Joey to steal, or run more, be more aggressive. Tyler Stevenson's not going to get the green light more than he used to. It's just going to be because, well, Jesse Winker was slow and he's not going to be there anymore. Hopefully Nick Senzel will be out there more, so he'll run a little bit more. But yeah, so I don't think they're going to get too overly aggressive with it, but it is a more athletic team, so they'll probably steal, or at least attempt to steal a few more bases until it hopefully it doesn't happen, but proves to be a detriment if they keep getting caught.
Yeah, they're going to want to stay on at least that 70% threshold. They're not going to be, stealing if they're getting thrown out half the time.
Does Moose get a steal?
Oh yeah,
I'm going to go with yes. He'll get a trailing steal or two throughout the season.
Yeah.
Pitcher falls asleep and he just takes over. Yeah, I like it.
Give me those double steals. Yeah, give me those.
I am going to miss Winker running though. That brought me great joy. It's so slow.
It's like Puig running was the best though. Like Puig running the bases was incredible.
His motion was.
He ran left-handed.
Oh man, that's awesome. I like it. Were we at the Nick Senzel question earlier? Is that what we were going around about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm the wrong person for that, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we know where you sit.
Right. Yeah.
50-50, right, Tim?
Yeah. This is Eric Davis too. Coming back.
Maybe this guy will get into the Reds Hall of Fame.
Oh.
We got some more questions. Want to get around to them. Kind of a random one. I kind of like it though. It's kind of fun. Score prediction for tomorrow. Ooh. I think the Reds are going to get it done tomorrow. 5-3 Cincinnati.
Are you going with the thought process that Max Fried's going to throw 4 innings because of the shortened spring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be dumb not to, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry to get to that bullpen though. The Atlanta bullpen's pretty strong.
They don't have Luke Jackson though.
My score prediction.
You shit yourself.
My score prediction will be. Let's go 6-3 Braves.
You son of a...
Hey, I don't know how deep Mally's gonna go.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I around the horn muted him.
Mally at times last year, kind of picked around the corners, had some issues with high pitch counts. Well, now he's facing a lineup with plenty of power. He's not going to be able to just go after each hitter.
Hey, you don't have to talk that up.
Tim, it's on the road. It's on the road, Clay. It's on the road.
While we're here, do not ask me about the over-under Joey Votto home run thing either.
Oh,
what's the over-under on Joey Votto?
Well, you're no fun.
Homers.
Wow. I love how
sometimes I say things just to see Carlos react.
I love how Clay comes in. He's like, "I call the shots on what you ask me."
You want some action?
Give me.
I got PayPal.
Give me 4-2 Reds. I think Tyler Mally's 4th pitch is going to come into play here, and we're talking about 6 innings from him. And I think that the bullpen for Atlanta is still going to be just ridiculous, but I think that the Reds get up on Max Fried early, and they just kind of coast to one of those really stressful wins where we have to sweat out the bullpen pitch in the final 3 innings and being like, oh, dear God, just don't walk in the winning run.
Jeff, when you said Tyler Mally's fourth pitch, I thought you were about to predict the fourth pitch of the game. I was like, oh my gosh, what is he doing?
It'll be a slider low and away.
I was like, dude, Jeff scripted the entire pitch by pitch game here.
Locked on Reds has some crazy prop bets.
Our prep takes forever. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm gonna go 6-4 Reds. I think there's gonna be some runs scored.
Yeah, I was gonna go 5-3 Reds.
I'm gonna go 3-2 Reds, and Tyler Stephenson's going to drive in the go-ahead run in late in the game.
Love
Nice.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, Clay.
Yeah, you're out. Braves fan Clay Snowden at Clay.
Pirates
Brave.
fan.
Have you
Mariners
noticed
fan.
he always praises other teams but the Reds whenever he's on? Are you guys noticing that?
I am positive about other teams. You asked me to come on and speak an hour about the Pirates. I mean, come on now. I did you all a favor here.
It was an emergency.
It's a January Monday night, and here's Clay Snowden to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And you tried to
Bruno
convince them to be
Vogelbach's
good in
gonna
a couple
hit
years.
22 home runs. Like, who cares?
You're trying to convince them to be good in a couple years. You know those guys won't be there for longer than arbitration.
Come on now.
The lockout was tough. The lockout was tough.
They're playing service time shenanigans with O'Neal Cruz. That dude needs to be in the major leagues yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, first home run. I'm going Tommy Pham.
I think India leads it off.
Left-handed pitcher. There's only one answer: Kyle Farmer. Let's go, baby.
I'll take India. I don't think he's gonna be lead off, but I'll take India.
Tyler Stevenson, playing in his home state.
Yeah.
Nick, are you sure you don't want Aquino?
Do we think he's going to be batting second tomorrow? I
hope not.
Well, no, just because of
I'm deleting Twitter if that happens.
Second,
give me Tyler
Miss Kirby.
Stevenson.
Come get his whiskey, Miss Kirby.
He might be the second pinch hitter of the game. I don't know.
No, because of the lineup structure where they've had Naquin's been batting second. I'm assuming he's playing for Naquin's spot.
Could be.
I'm saying it's possible. I don't think I wouldn't bat him second. I'd bat him lower. I just kind of want to see the reaction.
Has he batted second before?
Yeah, last year Bell put him typically like wherever Naquin was or whoever he was replacing. Like they didn't really move the lineup. I don't know if you guys remember last year.
Dude, I barely remember this morning.
There wasn't a lot of memories from Aquino last year that stuck for some reason.
There's that one time he got thrown a breaking pitch low and away, and he didn't swing at it. That was pretty cool.
I mean, he had a great salami in spring training the other day. You know.
Moving on. Record after the first month. There's 21 games.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking to myself, like, I don't even know how many games they've got in the first month.
Yeah.
I counted it for you. 21 games. Who wants to go first?
Do you have the schedule in front of you? Thank you.
Fucking Clay calling the shots still. Comes on the show and I'll
bring in the next slide.
Well, I was just gonna really embarrass myself because I totally forgot who they played and you just had it up.
Well, they're gonna go 6-0 against the Padres. We know that.
Yeah, without Tatis, obviously they don't have a chance.
0 chance.
I'll put in a call. I want to say they go 2 games under 500. I'm not doing math.
Is that possible? 21 games?
No, it's not.
Okay,
damn it, Tim.
I was gonna say 9-12, so I'm about there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on 9-12.
I see 7 wins.
11-10. 11-10. Let's go.
Bieber's getting one of those Cleveland games, right?
Nick, are you writing all these down?
Oh yeah.
It's just recorded.
I was gonna say, yeah, like it's gonna be like on YouTube. It'll be fine.
Well, I mean, you're gonna go back and check each one.
Oh, people will. They will.
Yeah, because I think it'll be Bieber Malley in the home opener. So I don't know. I say 10-11. I think they're going to keep us on the hook for a while this year.
Ooh. I'll be throwing a fiesta. They're 10-11.
4 2/3. I'm being optimistic.
William Wright.
I was going to say.
William Wright asks, "How many innings will Tyler Malley pitch tomorrow?" In case
you're right. I'm supposed to ask that.
In case anyone is listening to a 3-hour podcast tomorrow morning.
I will on the golf course. I'm going to re-listen to this.
There you go. Live your best life. I'll go 5 1/3. 5 1/3. He's going to throw 93 pitches. 5 1/3. He's going to be effective.
I'm going to say 4 2/3. He will. Carlos's golf score will be higher than the total pitch count from Tyler Mahle tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good bet.
Bet online. Get that prop bet rolling.
Take the under. Hey, take the under.
I'm gonna say 5. I think that Bell's gonna pull him after an inning. I don't think he's gonna try to. I think he's gonna want him to end, not pull him mid inning.
I think 6, but for that same reasoning, which makes no sense. But yeah, 6 quality starts, one earned run, but only because he probably will come out with like 95, 98 pitches, and people will be like, "Why can't he get to 100?" But that's because David Bell wants to not kill him on day 1.
Yeah, when Luis Castillo's out.
I'm just gonna randomly put some Josh Van Meter.
That's right.
Because I have absolutely no idea.
New Pittsburgh Pirate, Josh Van Meter.
Josh Van Meter's 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts with the Pirates the last I saw.
Why were you looking at
Is he
that?
one
Is
of
a
their
better
best
question.
The reason, to clarify, I wasn't looking up Josh
'Cause he likes
Van
the
Meter's
Pirates?
stats. I just happened to see a tweet that said exactly that.
Sometimes I look up Josh Van Meter stats.
I did spend this afternoon watching a Memphis Redbirds game, so I definitely have some time to fill in my life right now.
Gosh, aren't you getting married this year?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You have time, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. Are they really going to have Aramis Garcia be the second catcher? Tons of movement in the second catcher market today.
Yeah,
Look, I found it really. I found it really interesting the other day when Nick Kroll was on the broadcast. They asked about Garcia because they had just sent Andrew Knapp down to the minors, and he said, things can change, but as of right now, that's what it looks like. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, they're checking the market. They're waiting for the market to see if somebody gets waived or somebody gets passed up and another team wants to make a trade to like clear some spots. Look, I get it. The guy had a hot spring, but I mean, the Reds catching is just really bad behind Tyler Stevenson right now. And I mean, yeah, he's probably going to be the second catcher, but I wouldn't be shocked if they really took a look at that waiver wire and see what happens.
So did Neftali Soto.
It beat Kyle
Donald
Farmer.
Lutz.
We had a dang backup shortstop.
Somebody asked me that the other day. They said, "Will Kyle Farmer be the backup catcher?" I'm like, it's going to be hard to do from the shortstop position. I'm just saying.
But
He's
if
gonna have to
anybody
run.
can, Jeff, if anybody can.
Look, I just want to see Kyle Farmer play shortstop with the catcher's mitt. That's what I want to see.
Yes. He's actually giving the signs to the pitcher from shortstop. Throw a fastball.
Yeah, they really need that that electronic thing. Just
I was gonna say.
steal these signs, I dare you.
Like the
Tell
old
the umpire,
video,
just
that
hold up
robot
like
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I the only one who doesn't think it's that big of a deal with Garcia as a second catcher? I just
because you're going to be in trouble either way if you're out Tyler Stevenson. So.
I feel like there's like 15 other like things I'd rather them be looking on the waiver wire right now. I don't know. I feel like any team outside of maybe a team that has like a left-handed catcher that has like a decent like platoon, I don't feel like anyone really has a good backup catcher. Do they?
Well, and that's why the weird thought process of Milwaukee, like there was like two thoughts competing in my head whenever I read the news about them getting Victor Caratini. It was like, okay, that's really cool to have a general manager that cares that much to make a move to get a backup catcher. And then I'm like, but did they really need to make a move to get a backup catcher?
Well, they're in a little bit different spot in my opinion because Narvaez can't hit lefties at all. Like Tyler Stevenson can hit both. So I feel like they're a little bit different of a situation. I don't know. I don't think Garcia's. I would rather them be looking for bullpen arms or
they can do both. I mean that they're not like they can do both of those things, Nick.
In theory.
Well, sure, but I mean, if they're not wanting to make a bunch of 40-man roster moves, I'm just saying that would be lower on my pecking order. Sure. I mean,
the
go
thing
at everyone.
that concerns me too is just there's not necessarily the and Doug, please correct me if I'm wrong on this in the minor league system. Chris Oakey is not. He's not really an option in terms of a major league level player, and they don't have the Juan Gratterall or the Bo Taylor, whatever the guy's name was last year, a veteran who could come up from AAA. They don't really have that this year, do they?
I mean, not a veteran type guy. No, I mean, Colesbury's still on the 40-man roster, and I think that he probably would be the guy that they would call up if something were to happen to one of the other two catchers. But yeah, they don't have that veteran guy. Chris Oakey, I mean, Mark Colesbury, I don't think either guy can hit at the major league level, particularly right now. So I don't think that it really would matter which one they called up. Colesbury is probably a better defensive catcher, but Chris Oakey's a fine defensive catcher. There's nothing wrong with him defensively. But yeah, they don't really have that option. Like Carlos said, if Tyler Stevenson goes down, it doesn't matter. They're screwed.
So what you're saying is Ryan Lavarnway is not walking through that door.
I mean, if he walks through my door right now, we're gonna have some problems. But yeah, no, I just again,
It's gonna come off.
That's right. I'm gonna throw it right at him and then jump out this window right now.
So when are they gonna go get Justin Upton?
It'd be nice.
Wouldn't it be?
I don't know. I feel like that's Nick's platoon dream, right?
Yeah.
Talking it to an existence, Nick.
I want
You
it.
can get a Big Red Platoon shirt at latenightReds.merchmake.com.
Look at that. This guy's a pro.
See how I set him up?
The problem is, I don't really think the Reds are necessarily the most desirable option for Upton, because I think he'd be looking for one of two things. Either a place where he can play every day, which he's not going to be able to play every day for the Reds, or a place that is a more bona fide contender. The Reds are neither one of those. They're like in the middle. I don't think they fit what Upton's looking for, unless there's just no options.
Is he going to have options, though?
What contender is going to bring on Justin Upton is my question.
Well,
they're going to make an addendum to the Ohtani rule and say that the Dodgers can have as many people on their major league roster as they want.
Can they sign me?
Look, the Giants will be a team. I think they got a couple of guys beat up. They could use probably another right-handed masher. They've got a lot of lefties in their lineup.
If you're a hitter who has struggled to hit, are you really going to go play in San Francisco? I mean, I know they're getting the humidor, and maybe that matters. But if I've got options, it's a really tough sell for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to go play in San Francisco.
I don't think he has very many options.
That's fair enough. I can see that.
Yeah, maybe would the Mets want him? I don't know.
Conforter's still out there. He's got options.
Yeah.
You could maybe sell him on, hey, maybe you can get a bunch of home runs at Great American as a right-handed hitter on a platoon basis, but I don't know.
Well, even so, if you're platooning him, how many lefties you going to see that he's going to get enough at bats to get a lot of home runs?
True.
Well, I mean, it's like Nick said, you can't have too many good players. And I mean, if anybody knows that you need to stock up or opportunities might come, it should be anybody joining Cincinnati. There's been lots of injuries out in the outfield, lots of different guys. So you can't just bank on, okay, I'm going to sign with them and I'm going to be a platoon player when, a week later you can be an everyday player.
And I designated hitter, man.
Yeah.
It changes the lineup. So.
And if he starts, whatever team he goes to, he starts hitting, just left-handed hitting and he gets hot after the spring that he had, they're going to be like, well, let's see what he can do with right-handers. They're going to give him that opportunity.
Yeah. He did have a good spring, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if I was him, I'd be looking either for a team like the Pirates or someone that I can guarantee me to get 500 at-bats, or I'm looking to go for more of a contender. I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
But maybe you're not.
I'd love him. Sign me up. Bring him in tomorrow. We'll put him at DH. Let's go.
What if he takes a Keno spot? Are you still in?
He's not going to take a Keno spot.
Why not?
Right. You're just playing hypotheticals.
He might be a better platoon hitter than Aquino.
They still have a lefty that's got to play, even if.
I just wanted to see your reaction when I said that. That's all. Nick, I love you. I couldn't help myself.
Nick's like, we're never doing this 3-hour bullshit again. Everyone just picks on me about Aquino.
We only got 7 minutes left, man.
The fact that we
Is,
made it long and there's still people here hanging out with us is really dope. I got to say.
Wait, it's not just the 6 of us? No.
No.
No, my mom and dad are
Shockingly.
watching.
Yeah, my wife tuckered out. She went to bed already. So,
I mean, Clay gets the entire Pirates fan base watching.
Yeah.
I mean, he brings
I will
all
say,
8 of
you
them?
know,
All 7
Jeff-
of them.
Jeff,
if we
you're
want
one
to
of
talk about
people
the
that thought
Pirates or
that
the
you asked
Tigers,
Locked
for some
On.
reason, those are two teams I can talk about. My most read article of all time was about the Detroit Tigers back in November. So if you all ever want to talk about the Tigers, I've got some info.
I like the trade the Tigers made the other day. I liked them getting Austin Meadows.
Clay, I want to get you on record. Who wins more games this year, the Reds or the Tigers?
Tigers.
0 chance.
Like I said, sometimes I just say things for a reaction here. I was looking Nick straight in the eyes just to see what happens there.
I don't know. They don't have Buck Farmer anymore. We got him.
Yeah, right.
Screwed.
What a name.
I've realized everything
gonna
I've
say
said
that
tonight
as
about
much
the
as I
Reds has come off in a kind of negative way, which
Well,
is
first
not
off, you came
typically
in and
like
took over the
me.
show.
We've noticed, but
I don't know what's going on, guys. Maybe it's
knows?
just this hour of the night.
He comes
I don't
in here
know.
and he's like, I got a question. Don't ask me about this. God, man. Shit. Who's the one running the show?
That's funny.
Yeah. All right.
What
Well,
else you got, Nick?
I got one more thing for everyone. I want everyone to give their hottest take for 2022 here at 11:55 Eastern Time.
oh boy.
Positive, Clay.
Reds related, right?
I mean, let's have it at least semi-Reds related.
Yeah, don't talk
Talk about the
Pirates.
oil prices.
I'll start. The Reds win more games than the Mariners this year.
That's a juicy one.
The
I don't see
Mariners
it
had a negative 51 run differential last year.
Yeah, I think it comes back down.
That
to
team
earth.
got so lucky; it was crazy.
All right, who's next? Come on.
All right, I'll go totally hot take. The Reds win more games than the Giants.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm out on the Giants too.
I don't know what to expect out of the Giants. I feel like I could see them winning 95 games or 75 games.
I don't even remember what projection system it was, but I saw somebody had them in like the upper 70s.
Nuts. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that. All right, come on. Who's next? Fire it.
All right. Nick Senzel, 26 home runs this year.
All right.
Okay.
At the All-Star break, right, Tim?
Yep. Then he wins
A
MVP.
hot take.
You guys like Chris Bryant? I don't think so. Nick Senzel.
Luis Castillo, top 3 of the Cy Young.
Yeah, there we go, Jeff.
Nice.
Love it.
I think.
Okay.
I think
I see. Is an Art Warren take hot at all?
It can be. Depends on what you say.
It's a what
If you
Like
say
if you're Art Warren's going to hit 15 home runs this year, then yeah, that's a hot take.
All right, Art Warren is second in the NL Central in saves behind Josh Hader.
I feel like I wanted Art Warren's going to be an all-star. I feel like that's still a little cold, Clay.
Nick, we're talking about Art Warren. Come on now.
Zachary wins. All right, Carlos, you're up.
I like that one.
I don't know. Well, I don't know how hot the take this is, but I say Joey, India, Stevenson, and Castillo and Malley all make the All-Star team.
That's a pretty hot take.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that
Five
happens, Carlos, the
All-Star.
Reds are going to be like 86-0 at the All-Star break, right?
I just don't know if Castillo's going to get enough innings in, but so you can take him out again. Okay, I'll take him out because he probably won't have enough innings.
I had somebody tell me that he needs to be changed to the closer of the team because the Reds don't have a closer. So maybe he makes it as a closer, Carlos.
I like Hunter Bivens' thoughts here. Joey Votto MVP. Get another one.
Clay, don't have conversations with people on Facebook.
That is such a
He's
dark,
on
dark
MySpace.
place. When I logged on Facebook last week and someone was selling a Marge autographed cigarette, that's when I knew it was just game over for $250.
Collectors will buy anything lately, man.
Yeah.
Clay, where are you
Don't
displaying
lowball
it?
me. I know what I have here.
Clay, where are you displaying it at?
Right?
Well-
it's actually sitting inside the Michigan State Spartan. It's like sitting
Yeah.
outside his mouth.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not even gonna go that crazy.
Wow. Carrick.
Carrick. Senzel's a better year than India. Holy
I hope
shit.
that's good and not bad. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely a
I hope
hot
India
take,
has
I
a
mean,
good
also.
year, but like
Hey,
Senzel wins the MVP or something.
I like the so-and-so having a better year than so-and-so. So Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo?
Nick
I gotta go
Lodolo.
Lodolo.
I'm going Lodolo as well.
I'll hedge. I'll say Lodolo has a lower ERA, but Green has a higher WAR because he'll pitch longer, pitch more innings. So,
I think it's
don't know.
Hunter Green. I do.
I'll take Hunter Green by the smallest of margins.
Can I throw one in since we're going crazy and we got like 40 seconds left?
Yeah.
Your show, right?
I think. I don't know. Clay showed up and all of a sudden. What is the Reds'
I didn't realize
record?
I had so many questions for you all.
Yeah. What's the Reds' record against the Pirates this year, Clay?
Man, you know how I feel.
Your
about the
almighty,
Pirates.
beloved Pittsburgh Pirates.
I have a separate bet with somebody about the Pirates going under their projected win total of 66.5. So I'm not high on the Pirates this year. Let's clarify that.
What year are you high on them?
Maybe like 2024, 2025.
Here we
All
go.
those guys will be traded by now. They'll trade them for
O'Neal Cruz, Nick Gonzalez. I mean,
O'Neal will be gone.
Dude, it's the Pirates. Dude, Nick and I were really texting the other day about the Chris Archer trade and all the guys that gave up in that trade, how that just looks worse and worse by the week.
That was a
Need to make like a Primanti Brothers bet on it or something.
Yeah. All right, I say they go. What do they play the Pirates? 19 times this year? 20 times?
It's usually 18.
I think so.
I think.
All right.
Right.
I'll say 14-4.
15-3.
I got 12 wins against the Pirates.
15-3.
I gotta go 13 then. I can't be the low guy.
Carlos, go for the full season sweep here.
18-0. Let's go, baby.
Give me 14-4.
Nelson Cruz is right at the deadline if they're in it.
Oh, I'm all for that, especially with the DH, obviously.
If they don't get Upton.
Well, I don't know. Clay last week was talking about how he really wants the Reds to get Mickey Moniak because he's so good.
Oh, come on. No. I did log on to Twitter last week, and in the spaces, someone was holding a space, and it just said Mickey Moniak discussion. And I was like, who is tuning in for this?
Mickey Moniak's family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it about how cool his name is? Because he's got a cool name.
I mean, I might have clicked on the space. I don't know.
I pulled him a lot in Topps rookie cards, and I was all excited because he was the first pick. And then I looked at his numbers and went, "Well, these aren't worth shit."
He had a good spring this year. He's going to play a lot
have
of
no idea
field
who
in
y'all are talking
Philadelphia.
about.
So.
Talking about the Phillies version of Norris Hopper.
He's a very different player than Norris Hopper.
Well, guys.
Yes.
Nick, do you want to end on anything else particular? Or do you want to bounce?
1 second here. Hold on.
All right. Well, while Nick's doing his thing, I just want to wish everybody happy opening day because it's technically opening day now.
It is.
Oh,
Yes.
Except for Carlos, because it's still like 11 o'clock there.
Yeah,
right?
I got 58 more minutes. Blair.
And unless
Sorry,
you're
buddy.
Mariners,
Sorry.
Twins, Red Sox, or Yankees fan, that got pushed back to tomorrow.
They
Oh,
don't
yeah,
count.
good point. Yeah. I got all excited. I picked up J-Rod in my Dynasty League, and I was like, yes! And they're like, postponed. I was like, damn it.
Luckily, he's
Just
going to
gonna-
play more than just one game tomorrow, Tim. So you'll still be all right.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. You're a big Mariners guy, Clay, so, like, how much is he going to play?
He's going to play center field, which is going to be interesting. But I do watch a ton of Mariners baseball, which is so strange. But
I feel like I am too this year.
Yeah.
it's that late night hour.
The late nights
I
are
stay
going to
up
be
and watch all
Padres
the
and
West Coast
Mariners.
games, and they were just the most appealing to watch last year.
And they have that awesome 4K camera
Oh,
angle.
yeah.
That thing is sick.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
Every team needs it. What the hell?
Yeah.
It's 2022, damn it.
Right. If I've got a 4K camera or two, why doesn't
Right.
Major League Baseball?
Why doesn't Minor League Baseball? I feel like they're still recorded on a camcorder.
Don't get me started on that.
Also, now that we get to table this discussion until next spring training, why on earth aren't every single spring training games televised? And nobody's going to care anymore because it's regular season baseball. But hey, I still want to put it out there.
At least we're gonna have Sunday morning baseball on Peacock.
I
for
heard
whatever
about
that's
this.
worth.
Sunday morning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
11:30 Eastern time start every Sunday starting like I think it's like May 8th or something like that.
Mhm.
For the rest of the year, they have like 18 games.
I want to
And
see the
then-
focus group that they came up with that idea with. Like, who were they talking to that said, "Yeah, totally"?
Yeah.
Probably people counting dollar bills.
Yeah. I would say what Apple TV's the other deal now, right? The MLB
Yeah.
streaming rights. Yeah.
Friday night or whatever.
I just hope my package that I bought works tomorrow because I'm gonna be really pissed if I have to freaking call someone.
Carlos, what are we making tomorrow? I'm making hot wings. What are you making?
I'm not making shit because I've got that little league game to go to.
Carlos, the game tomorrow's on ESPN2. You don't need
Oh, that's right.
you don't need the package tomorrow.
He does if he just bought like
It will
full package
totally
yesterday.
Oh, but the Padres play tomorrow. My Mariners play tomorrow.
No, they don't. They're postponed.
Oh,
We
that's
just
right.
talked about
Shit. Fine.
Doubleheader to look forward to, though.
Go Cubs. Let's get Brewers 0-1.
Carlos isn't wrong. The Mariners do play tomorrow because it's officially Thursday.
Not where he's at, though.
Oh.
Not where he's at.
No, that's true.
You don't know where I'm at, Doug.
You already told me. You
Damn
said
it.
it was 11:02.
Shit.
Look at this hair, okay? I pick up on things.
Too many Pabst Blue Ribbons for me.
I drink a tall boy. How do you think I feel?
It's good.
Great.
It's good beverage. Good beverage.
How have you not gone to the bathroom yet, Tim?
I don't know.
He's got a
He's
hair
going
the,
as we speak.
I've had 2 bourbons tonight. I've had a Pabst Blue
He's
Ribbon.
got a puppy pad underneath.
Aw.
Yeah, Sara Elyse told us that they keep it as a bark in the park, so I made sure to put one in my office. Can I tell actually a really, really funny story about the poster behind me real quick before we get out of here, Nick?
Please.
All right. So I did this college basketball podcast the other day where they were asking me about Xavier and the NIT run. And the kid behind me, like, he goes, "Do you have a Wade Miley poster in your office?" I was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, they gave him away after he threw the no-hitter." And he's like, "Okay, but it's Wade Miley." And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Should have punched him in the throat.
It's a cool poster. Coming
So
some
he's
swag.
the best Reds pitcher of all time in 2021.
And then they gave him away for nothing.
Doug couldn't
To
hold
a
it in.
division rival.
Doug couldn't hold
To
it
a division rival.
Nick, are we getting one? Should we look forward to this tomorrow?
There might be something at 9 a.m. I'll tease that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when I wake up at noon,
That's
I'll watch it.
specific.
I will say, if you have not watched and you somehow have an extra like 3 hours in your day, Nick put together the top 100 Reds moments, and I watched it last year on opening day before the game. Great way to eat up some time. It's on Nick's YouTube channel page, whatever it's called.
Way to redeem yourself for all the Pirates love.
You mean the late
In
night Red Talk
2024, the
YouTube
Pittsburgh.
page?
Yes.
Wait, you got
All
a
right.
video of Ed Roush taking a nap? I want to see that.
I just want to take a nap. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
With you.
That's awesome. Gotcha.
Tomorrow's opening day video is just Mike Freeman taking ground balls.
Like, I just want to watch Joe Randa homering like on loop for 3 hours.
It's just
And then mix in
220 of
Ramon
a Kino.
Hernandez.
I was at the Ramon Hernandez one. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Even though Ricky Weeks hit one that I was sitting in the bleachers, I could read Rawlings on the ball with how hard he hit it. All right, dudes. I think we've hit everything. So I want to real quick say thanks to everyone who tuned in all 3 hours. Pretty awesome. Really cool.
You're special.
Yeah, even if you tuned in for like 20 minutes to this has been really appreciated. 2, all of our guests, the 3 we have with us now, Mo, Sarah, Trent, Bobby, Emily, Emma. God, there are so many. That was really cool. So this was awesome. And like we said, like Doug said earlier, hope everyone has a great opening day. Go Reds. 5-star reviews. Buy our t-shirts. See you, everybody.
Hey, and we're back tomorrow night after the game. We're doing a live reaction show.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
But everybody else seemed very confused that was happening. So it was just Nick.
There's a lot of things we agree on that they get forgotten about. All right, we got a video of Joey Votto before we go to the outro. This was just posted on Twitter. I have no idea what it is.
Perfect. Perfect.
In 5.
So wait, did he post that or
The Reds posted that.
Oh, okay.
What? I didn't see shit. What just happened?
Do you need to see it again?
Perfect.
Oh, there's.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.